All right, we are live. Welcome to episode 6 of the Laser Gamer podcast. We haven't talked since the California Ball basically came out. If we rewind the clock to December, I was playing Brighter Shores. I think Blonde Bear was still on the podcast with Blue Squadron, which was still running at the time. Um, and I think BDO was in an interesting state just coming out of like this massive exodus with PvP players kind of complaining about the state of the game. We saw Divios make a pretty interesting video about like just game state being a little bit underwhelming. A lot of the things that were like elements of the game that had been things they fell in love with had been gradually being reduced over time. So I think some of the love for BDO had maybe diminished, and I know for some of us even on the call, it's probably not there like it might have been in the past, right? So primarily based on conversations and some of the recent moves with World of Warcraft and old school RuneScape players, kind of this migration that's happening. We're kind of trying to continue that element of the conversation in the context of what's happening in Black Desert Online, particularly with the Heidel Ball explaining the new progression elements proposed by Prolibus regarding Edonia and the expansion that we're expecting to get about 15 days, about 2 weeks after this is being filmed. So Blonde Bear, I think we have a video on screen here. So if you like hover over like the middle of the video, we're trying to find the section regarding sub-weapon, if we can start there. And then maybe we can just talk about the sub-weapon changes.
Sovereign weapon?
Sovereign weapon, that's the one. Most replayed. We know where we're going. Let me check stream volume, if you can turn it up a little bit. Let me make sure. Are you sharing audio? Oh, stream volume. It's my fault.
Huh?
I got it. We're good. It's good. Sorry, I just had to adjust some volumes.
This is the Heidel 24.
That is... that is crazy.
You sent me the wrong Heidel.
That's crazy.
I'm like, sovereign weapons, yeah, we know about this stuff, huh?
That's insane.
Hey,
okay.
Wait, we should watch this. Wait, we should skim through this one real quick and see all the things that haven't been added.
Oh my gosh, dude. Okay, it's going in general. It's already there. Okay.
Wait, do you think there are things in that video that are just like
What's
never
wild
gonna
is
show up?
I didn't even notice, dude. My bad. No, I think it's maybe good to talk about the history of what we saw in 2024 because we were all there. We talked about it last year. Welcome in, Felix. All right. So again, in the middle, there's a lot more segments in this one. The one right before is actually about the alchemy stone, but I think, yeah, I think we can see your screen. Looks good. If you can, yeah,
Go down to...
it should be sub weapon. It should say. Probably around 50 minutes. Yeah, let's see. Or like an hour.
In the sovereign weapons?
Yeah, start with sovereign sub-weapon. I think that makes more sense. They'll make this like auditorium. It's really interesting.
Oh, here's a video.
Okay, next up, let's watch this video.
Can you go theater mode by chance?
Yeah.
Perfect. I mean, visually looks good. More of the same. Some sub-weapons are pretty underwhelming.
Okay, very nice. Woo woo.
I think many adventures have been.
Many adventurers were speculating on this as the reveal of the new item, Sovereign Sub-Weapon. Many adventurers had a feeling it was coming, but everyone is asking, what kind of stats will it have? Shall we take a look at the effects first?
Let's take a look. Ooh.
Oh.
Look at that AP chat. Look at the AP. You know?
Many adventurers got this right.
The Sovereign Subweapon combines the power of both Nova and Kutum. Its enhancement levels are the same as those for main and awakening weapons, comprised of 10 levels. The difficulty is also identical. There are 3 different crafting members for the Sovereign Subweapon. Since it has the effect of 2 weapons 1, it does require a bit more materials compared to main or awakening weapons.
Yeah.
First, you can use 2 pen Black Star sub-weapons plus 1 Gem of Twilight. Second, you can use a pen Black Star sub-weapon, 1 pen Kutum sub-weapon at Capris level 20, and a Pen Nova subweapon at Capros level 20. Or third, a Pen Blackstar subweapon, a one Gem of Twilight, and a new item called Gem of the Primordial. The Gem of the Primordial is a new item, and we'll get to how to obtain it. We'll get to know how to obtain it shortly. Also, just like main and awakening weapons,
Can
sub
I
and
make a
assault weapons
complaint real
gain
quick?
additional visual effects.
Yep, go for it.
Because the thing that bugged me the most with this release is the item that you got over the last year or so from Land of Morning Light bosses, the Embers, are completely obsolete for anyone who made the Sovereign like day one. So you had to kill 100 bosses to get 100 Embers, and you were what, stuck at doing 6 a week or something? Like you were time gated, and now that item is completely useless. Can't turn into another Sovereign to sell or anything. It's just maybe you can make a shy weapon. I don't know. It's useless. They should have added a use for it with this new item. Like maybe all this stuff plus that item at least. Make a use for something instead of making it useless.
Yeah, like maybe every single like daily that I've done to get their weekly for the weekly bosses for this little primordial thing should have been used for the new offhands. That way, like we don't have to invest into a bunch of other random market crap, and we could have just had the offhand. Instead, that item is now basically if you have a shy, you're gonna use it for a shy, and otherwise it's a literally useless item. Like it's a pity item for who? Because no one that I know that's doing bosses is also someone that isn't logging in doing like regular content. It's just very odd.
Yeah, it seems like they turned it
Placement
into
for
dead content, right? Like,
wait, did any of us use that flame, by the way? Jordan?
I did.
Jordan
Just one?
did.
For my shy.
You got it with...
For the shy.
Oh, well, shy. I meant for the main.
No, there's no way. Any normal player that's playing.
Well, if you
literally
take
at all.
months to get the Sovereign, then yeah, it would have worked out. But
Right, if you take
anyone
months
that
to get
went
Sovereign,
for it
I
right
feel like
away,
you're not...
it's useless.
Right, I just don't think that's your normal average player. Someone that's gonna get the weapon by doing the weekly bosses, but not by grinding. It's just not your average player.
Well, I feel like it's a bait and
But
switch, right?
I would not have spent the extra black star. I would have waited for the flame if I knew it was gonna be useless. It sucks.
So they basically got a bunch of people to go to the boss thinking that it would matter. And then the problem is the pity is so uncommon that realistically nobody's going to finish a flame.
It shouldn't even be talked
Nobody.
about. The flame should just not be something mentioned. Like, there's no reason. They should just literally leave the flame a mystery and say, don't even say anything about it. And mentioning that it's like a way to progress your weapon is like, oh yeah, maybe in 6 years after doing bosses, I'll get one flame drop to click my weapon. Oh wait, I can't market it, so I have to make a whole second weapon. And even if I did make that second weapon, I can't even sell it. So it's like literally useless. It's like 10 times over super useless, pointless. It's really just dumb.
Yeah, they need to dial back the unsellable, untradeable crap and just make Sovereign tradable and make Charizard tradable. Fix the game.
I don't think that would fix the game, but
it would be a start. It would be in the right direction.
So, can you go back to the stats
I
real
don't know
quick?
about
Just
that.
to, there's other parts of this conversation too, but they made a pretty big decision here with combining Uber and Kudum. Do you think that's like the right play? Like, does it fit with what they're doing with the rest of the game?
For sure. One of the biggest divides in the game has always been, oh, do I put all my Kaffers into my Kudum or my Nuver? And it's like, well, you have the PvE to PvP, and then
Yeah.
Black Star offhands came out, and then it was like a meme. It's like, okay, well, every single person who ever plays the game has to have like Black Stars. Like,
Yeah,
the
you had
divide
to.
that came when we had Zarka to Black Star, it was always, if you're grinding with a Zarka or something, you're like trolling yourself. Like, you're literally losing money like on purpose. Like, you're
Yep.
absolutely trolling. So I think that the decision to combine them is right. It's just, you know, that's like, of all the decisions that were right, this is the one.
That's fair.
Out of the
That's
many
fair.
wrong ones.
What about the fact it
I think
gives
that they had to
DP
do that.
at like rank?
Yeah,
what is
they
it,
had
6
to though. They were forced into it. What's the other option? Make 2 Sovereign offhands?
Make another Sovereign offhand or a PvP specific offhand.
They don't
Like,
have
it
the
would've
time
been
to
really-
develop a
Well,
whole
I guess
nother item.
isn't it crystals like kind of what they did with the armor? To be fair, like
What do you mean?
if you have the weapon on, you can choose to put in like a special crystal slot. That would be like a PvP crystal or PvE crystal.
Yeah, I mean, like, everything you can do right now currently is adjustable to like all your crystals can be PvPified or all your subsets can be PvPified. Like, I think that that's like enough wiggle room to like Like I have a guy who's in like a full setup just like me, but because he's got crystals that let him go full DP or full AP or full accuracy, like, you know, that was one path they took for quote unquote balance. Whether or not that's right or wrong, I don't know. I feel like all I did is like people were already memeing and it just like made people able to meme just for the cost of some crystals now. So it's just like, I don't know. It's awkward. It like it's kind of a pick your poison. Like I don't know. Yeah.
I just don't like their solution. Like it's similar to like Ghost brought this up the other day. There's a pretty cool system, admittedly, that they've added with fishing, where you can just like toggle on the life set of tools or whatever that you have equipped, like a fishing rod. You never have to like swap that on your main, which is like arguably one of the horrible experiences of the UI, right? Swapping to like a fishing rod, which fishing rods are
Let
pretty
me
rough in
interrupt real
general.
quick because they made it
Yeah.
a lot more brain dead than that. You don't even need a fishing rod. You can just click the button and start fishing with nothing. So you can log in and AFK for the whole week
But yeah,
without a
just
fishing rod. Without
that's fair.
carrying
But I just to make sure the point's gotten across, like the idea here is that PvP, ideally, in my opinion, like shouldn't be something that we have to like split into. Like world PvP is killed because of the separation between our ability to do both, right? Like if we can't quickly
Right. Back in the day,
respond to a
your gear
threat,
was a universal set. Your
yeah,
gear was like what you used in PvP, PvE was your PvP
You shouldn't have to
gear.
swap. If you're grinding
And
mobs and someone comes up to you, you should be able to fight
yeah,
them
you should be able to
you
without
should
fight
be able
any
to
them.
be in
swapping.
full PvP mode and not be like having to swap.
And if you
want to
gather some item next to you while you're killing those mobs, you should be able to do it with the highest mastery and XP bonuses you can put on. Like,
Right, without
why
it being
is
an
it limited?
inconvenience. Yeah. I completely agree, and I feel like BDO is going in the direction where it's going to do it with life stuff, but I think PvP should be in the same consideration. I really do. Like every
Well, it was,
PvEer,
and then they switched it.
Well,
They
there's
separated
less
it.
items now anyway.
Yeah, but now they took a system where everything was like in the same set of gear, right? All your gear was PvE or PvP, whatever, like it was what it was. And then
yeah,
they took that system and then split it to where we have like Nuver, and then we have Kudum, and then we have Black Star, and we have all these other things. We have an accuracy, we have an AP main hand, you know, often and all that.
Yeah,
And then we
Begs,
took it to that
Lever.
system. Yeah, we took it to Begs, we took it to Levers, we did all these other systems and separated it, and they're like, oh shoot, this doesn't work. And now we're trying to put it back together, but the design of the system is so like many steps removed that it's like it's now hurting because we're trying to put the pieces back together when we shouldn't have removed in the first place. But you could argue that's like their whole everything they're trying to do with progression has caused this problem, and like it didn't take a rocket scientist to figure out that this was going to happen, where you have a bunch of PvE Andes who just want to chill and grind, and like they're never gonna get a piece of PvP gear, and then you have PvPers who go full PvP build that are able to like absolutely wreck someone in a PvE build because it has no PvP defenses at all because it's not designed that way. It's designed against monster damage. Like, I mean, I even remember back in the day when it was like evasion was the PvP build because no one could build enough accuracy and damage to counterbalance it because we didn't have the gear at the time. And then even for PvE, going evasion was like important because the monsters just didn't have accuracy. And then they decided, oh, we don't want that. So they started adding tons and tons of accuracy to
to
monsters.
mobs. That was so
So they
stupid.
just shredded through your evasion. So you had to go back to the like I literally did that swap like 2 or 3 times back in the day. Like, but that's because they're trying to separate these fields that were shouldn't have been separated in the first place. But you could argue also certain classes enabled certain builds. Like when Striker came out and we had gear that had a little bit more evasion, that like certain offhands like Rosar
Yeah.
and different stuff. I remember like Divios building some crazy build and figuring out some tech where like he could wear some weird offhand and some weird other gear and he would be like invincible because for some reason before we had the numbers it was just tankier gear based on like, you know, testing. They did tons and tons and tons of testing just to like have like this, wow, we have like tanky stats with this weird piece of gear. I guess we'll just build that, and that became like a essentially like a PvP meta. And so the separation of gear because people wanted diversification in gear caused PA to like counterbalance, snap back, even though it took them literally years to make a system where we build all the PvE and PvP back together. But it's just like it's because we've tried to undo and redo the puzzle like 4 times over. It's causing problems. So it's awkward.
That's how PA likes to do things. They you know, innovate and then they take it away or they ruin. There's so many issues I want to bring up that are like irrelevant, but like Altar of Blood, you know, that rift, Savage Rift. There's all these like little things that were fun, and people spend a lot of time doing that aren't even in the game anymore. Why?
Yep. Well, they
They
said they were
spent the
going to
money to
revamp
make
it and
the
fix it
stuff.
and build it back, and then
Yeah.
they just didn't.
And then
they haven't
people
gotten it
forget,
back.
and it never gonna
Yeah,
see it again.
it like expired, right?
Update fishing totems for sake.
Jordan, do you have any thoughts about like I don't know, like life skilling related with even like the convenience part or like swapping between areas? Like, is there like a change that's overdue to you or something that they took out that you actually liked?
I think they just need to change the accessories. Just put the accessories on the wheel with the tools
That's what Ghost was saying,
for
right?
life
Not the
skilling
armor.
only.
What with the armor? Like the
No, not
clothes
the
and stuff?
armor.
Interesting.
Why don't you want a
Nah,
page
or
where all your
hunting,
mana
or-
goes?
Because for most part, like you're like when you're hunting, you already leave the hunting stuff on the hunting character. Like there are two hunters if you're trying to like min max hunting. But I mean, then you're just swapping the clothes and the bag. So it's not like it's just two items.
That doesn't seem so
The
bad.
best feeling in
Instead
the
of-
world for me would be able to do Imperial Alchemy and cooking without swapping anything ever. That would be nice.
Right after grinding, right? Just in and out. That'd be sick.
Yeah, like I just go to town after reset and I get my boxes or make them, you know, because now they make them fast. But
Yeah.
as it
I
is
mean,
now,
it's
like,
just
like I have to do two separate turn-ins because I have 3K alchemy.
yeah, you have to press two buttons.
It's not two buttons when it's every day. Okay. And
Yeah.
not only
I
that,
mean, I'm
you have
with
to
you.
swap
Buttons
out
a
all the
week.
gear.
I get
You
the
have to swap out all the
inconvenience.
gear, so it's a lot more than two buttons, right?
Yeah, if you want to do it on the same character, it's like literally like 12 extra clicks, and then you have to put everything back on when you're done.
Swapping
It's
characters
just not
too.
fun. Yeah, sometimes.
I mean,
Okay, so I think we're going to the sub weapon. Doesn't really seem like there's really many other options. Do you want to kind of go to the middle of the section, just kind of hit play? We can get up to the Adonia armors, because I think this whole section. If you go to the menu, Blumber, is the next section about the armors? What does it say? There's a long one called Adonia.
Let me see.
And it might be much later in the video. I just want to check. But we should talk about what Adonia is doing. Yeah. we gotta-
I think tagging should just apply to like weapons or things that
What is this
can't be
section
used
called?
on every character.
Chapter 4,
section
Transcending
we're
All
looking for?
Limits. Go to Chapter 4. That's what we want. That's exactly what we want. He's talking about progression. It's interesting.
Okay. Here we go. Done.
Are we ready for chapter 4?
Yes. We're going to look at the new region Idania. Since it's a place filled with new challenges, we've given it a pretty grand title, Transcending All Limits. Idania is located north of Valencia. You might remember the strait you cross to reach Hakovan Island. Idania is the continent that stretches above these cliffs. In the story of Black Desert, this region is occasionally mentioned under the name
You can put it at 125 if you want.
Back in 2020, when Hashashin was first introduced, we caught our first glimpse of its silhouette in the trailer. The Hashashins who guarded the doors of Iliali appear as main NPCs in Idania. These heroes have battled monsters at the world's edge, waging a solitary war that goes unseen and unrecognized. As we shared last year, Idania is planned to be released in parts 1 and 2. You can see the full map of Idania on the screen. The upcoming part 1 will take place on the left side of the continent, and part 2 on the right. At the southwestern tip of Idania,
Can you
you'll
hit pause?
find Hakinja Sanctuary, your new base camp.
Thank you. So, just one update here. So, there was some confusion around like part 1 and part 2, but what's actually happening in the release that we're getting on the 21st on North America, it's actually launching 20th in KR now. This was after it got delayed. Apparently, what they're doing is they're taking the first 5 castles in part 1 and doing like 1A, and then we're gonna get like so they're going to do 3 in part 1A and then 2 in part 1B. So they're splitting part 1 into different 2 parts. But we already knew there was a part 2, but that actually has not even been released. We don't even have a date for it. Just FYI for context, because that's changed since this came out. But go ahead and hit play still. I think we can keep watching.
This town offers services such as a blacksmith and a stable. To the right of the town are the castles of Idana. You can see Jordine's Etherean Castle, Enslar's Orbiter Castle, and Kafra's Zephyros Castle, which were teased during the last ball. Today, we're also introducing 2 castles for the first time. Rashalka's Nymphomare Castle and Kashin's Tenebram Castle. Yes, it's Jordine yet again, and Kafra's well known thanks to Kafra Stones and Altar of Blood. Enslar and Kashin probably sound familiar, so those who played Valkyrie and Sorceress, but I don't think many of you would have heard of Rashalka. Back on May 21st, we dropped a few hints about Rashalka through the Sea Crystal item and the special story quest. We've been gradually building up to reveal the story of the Merfolk, the race of Corsair's mother, and you'll discover even more intriguing stories connected to these characters in Edania. Part 1 of Edania features 5 castles and monster zones in this way. In terms of difficulty, the order is Jordine, Rashalka, Kashin, Enslar, then Kafres. For the final boss of Part 1, Kafres will be waiting for you. We're also preparing several castles for Part 2. To give just one spoiler, we're building a massive castle at the northern edge of Edania. The lord of this castle is the Black Dragon, Mark Thanon, whom you met in the Mountain of Eternal Winter. We hope you look forward to Edania.
The lore looks sick though, right?
Coming in the near.
King Black Dragon.
As Edania marks
Say that again, Jimmy. What?
Well, the lore of this looks incredible, yeah? Like, lore-wise, pretty well done. Any thoughts? Underwhelming? You're coming
It's
from
like a lot
RuneScape.
out of nowhere, I would say.
Yeah.
I would say it's a lot coming out of nowhere. We've kind of known that certain things were culminating to a certain way. I just don't know if we knew that like this is where like, oh, we just knew they were all kind of hiding out in a desert over here. Like maybe the story has some implications as to like what's going on, because Kafra's the Immortal Alchemist is like locked in the Elvia realm or whatever with like the Orzekia stuff and like the God of Hadum, and the whole thing was that he's like plotted to come back through like the Black Star hitting like the Calpheon area to bring Hadum into our world and other stuff. Like,
Right, I remember that.
the problem is that a lot of the story and lore is implicated through people's interpretations of it. So like when you do the Thornwood or like Odalita questline, it's specifically from the Ahib's perspective, versus when you do storylines on other like with other people, it's a different perspective. And some people interpret different like historical events differently, like literal history, which is cool. The problem is we don't know like a definitive like this is exactly yes and this is exactly no. Like we don't know the like actual real truth, because like it's hidden behind unironically it's hidden behind like different people on different sides of the conflict saying stuff. I don't know if we like knew this stuff was going to come. Rusalka is someone that's been mentioned in lore. I don't know if we knew about like it feels cool. I mean, it is cool. I just don't know if it's like actually like, yeah, we totally knew there were like 5 super demon lord castles like chilling here, and we just have been just not going north of Valencia for some unknown reason. Like I don't know how that ties it in. I don't know if it's like, oh, this is like how like, and this again could be part of the lore, like they tie it in. It's like, oh, they broke through the demon realm and they've come to our world, like
a recent
that could totally be
inhabitant.
something that's happening.
From
Yeah.
Outland?
Yeah, like they broke. Yeah, like literally like Outland breaking in through the dark portal or something. Like it could unironically be something like that. I just don't know.
Fair.
I don't know.
That's good background though.
But
So it's interesting you brought up Star's End.
It's very
Yeah.
cool.
I wonder if they have plans to kind of do like some of the things we heard about with Star's End and just put them over here. Like, I don't know. We were supposed to get like a whole boss though, right? Like it was going to be a thing. Just completely
There
fell
was going to be a
through.
world boss, yeah. And
It's
then
like 3
they
years
ended
ago
up
now.
Being like, man, people really don't like world bosses.
And then they've
Because they
now
make
gone
the
into boss
value
content.
great and then garbage, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and then they come up with an event that makes it good again, and then they kill it. It's never ending, suffering. I love doing bosses, by the way.
I mean, agree that like world
It's not
bosses
worth
are literally as good as the rewards are. Like if you're grinding 2 bill an hour and the boss is still worth 30 mil and I disconnect 50% of the time I hop over there, you better believe I'm never gonna go to that boss ever. Like
Yeah,
I stopped going
think
to Crondo
the
a long time
downfall of
ago.
Bosses happened with Black Shadow. I stopped caring as much.
Oh
Around that
yeah, I
time.
remember when Black Shadow came out. Anyway, I think we can keep going. This is going to transition into the armor, I believe, and like the difficulty scaling, and I think that's kind of the part we want to talk about.
The culmination of Black Desert's first 10 years, we've paid close attention to every detail, from the background to the stories of each character. We took extra care in selecting the bosses, adventurers would encounter in Adania. Because we believe these moments, when you encounter legendary beings you've only heard about during the story, or only met through their voices, are important. So,
This is sorry to pause it. This is also like a lot of lore and story in BDO is not understood by the player base. A lot of quote unquote spam R enjoyers in chat kind of thing. Like I agree that like it's definitely not the most digestible lore in like other games. It's not like World of Warcraft where we have a cutscene at the end of every quest line that kind of force feeds you like this is the bad guy. This is why we are doing this, because this bad guy is going to do something bad, and we're the good guys because we help people in the cutscene, and the bad guys hurt people in the like. It's not as like blatant like that. Like even arguably our character is not a good guy. Like we are not like a good person because we've done a lot of fudged up stuff and we work literally with the Black Spirit. We're just like less of an evil than like Elezra or whatnot. But like I think they're painting Elezra as like I'm doing all these bad things because it's for a good reason. Trust me, guys. It looks bad, but I have to do all these bad things because what's going to happen is something really good. I think that this is just a reaction to the player base like not understanding the story for a long time, and they're like, okay, we're gonna place 5 big baddies in this area, and it's gonna just be obviously blatant that like we're like these are characters in the story you've heard of, and here they finally are, and it's like, why have they just been chilling here the whole time? Like, what's like? And again, they could tie it in and lore-wise, whatever. They could figure out how to make it so that it's digestible. It's just like very it just feels a little silly and a tiny bit
That's
out of
from
place.
the most well-acquainted BDO player that knows lore. No one else knows lore like him.
I don't know about that, but I'm
I know
definitely a
about
lore
that.
enjoyer.
He's just
But
yeah. He reads the dialogue, right? And he's seen it at least once.
He doesn't just read, bro. He had PA giving him like lore to read too. I don't know.
You had those
He's talking
cards,
about
right,
stuff I've
from
never even
the
heard
PA
about.
event? I remember that was pretty cool. The trading game or whatever. Anyway, so I guess
I just feel like the blatant story insert character bad guys are a reaction to, we always hear about all these people, but we don't ever fight anybody or see anybody. I think this is like a reaction to that. And you could say that this is their like culmination point where like after this we're gonna wipe the story, go back 100 years, 1,000 years in the past where it's all green lush Valencia and we gotta go change the timeline or something. Like there's like a lot that they could do to make the world flesh out. It just feels like very like
So you want them to
these are
steal
bad
WoW
guys
content?
because
I agree, it would work.
it's kind of
just-
forced. You
it
mean?
just feels weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it seems extremely forced. It's cool. I'm not going to say it's not cool. It is very cool. It's just, it feels very forced because people don't understand the story of the game. They don't know who the bad guy or the good guy of the story is. Obviously, like, Caphras is being painted like the fucking Elden Ring Elder Lord guy on the throne, like all gold and shiz, which, I mean, we've known that Caphras is a bad guy, but, like, the thing is, like, I don't think people even know why certain people are good or bad in the story. I think
I
that
didn't know Caphras
would,
was
like,
a
just
guy. I
hold-
just thought it was a stone.
Okay, Ghost.
Caphras the immortal alchemist.
Yeah,
So-
I've never heard that. Just saying.
Has he
I'm
mentioned
just
that
trying
this
to
is
give you-
basically
mentioned
Someone with
everywhere.
50,000 hours of gameplay doesn't know anything about lore.
I think it's literally on the stone when you hover over it.
No one does
so?
that.
This is being mentioned as like the last part of BDO 1, right? Do you guys think that like BDO 2 is gonna just like take off? Like, first of all, is there gonna be like another cost for the second version of the game, or is it gonna be like
Wait,
just
you're
like a
saying
continuation?
BDO 1, like they're making another BDO, like they're done with this game and they're working on another one?
Well, I think it's more like lore wise, and I'm guessing some sort of like power reset or something. But there's kind of been talk of what like BDO 2 would look like, and like 2 meaning this is the hardest part because I don't quite understand the context of it. Jordan, do you follow what they mean by like saying like this is the last part of like chapter 1 of BDO? Like they're basically saying everything up to Adania is like part 1, and then whatever's happening next is going to be part 2. So we're expecting either some like big power changes or like some sort of, maybe this is the hard
Yeah, I think
reset that's going to be coming. I don't know.
It's probably gonna be like a giant like expansion.
So like compared to Adania, when you say giant, like you think like you probably
Like
might
the
have to even
whole
pay for
the
it.
whole map is gonna like change.
Will new players have to buy like another game, do you think? Or is like
No,
it'll just be a bigger release of
it's
the
still
game?
gonna be the same game. It's just gonna be like a new expansion. That's what I think.
Are we thinking
Yeah,
this
but
is
they've
like
just
time
introduced,
travel
like,
or
they've just introduced like so many stages of progression that no normal player is going to get through for like years and years and years. Like, why would they do something like is this just like, all right guys, we gave you the new armor, we gave you the new offhand, everything goes up to level 10, it's going to take you like 3 or 5 years unless you're like a no lifer to get this, or unless you pay to win a lot. So like, okay, sit on this for 5 years while we cook up another game. Like, I mean, they've already even talked about the, like I said, going 1,000 years into the past when Valencia was not a desert and when it was a lush forest before the meteor hit. Like, I don't know. You could argue that this is like their way. Like, but I don't know. I don't know. I don't think they're gonna make a BDO 2. I think that they know they've got so many people invested on this game, they can't literally make a second game. There's no shot. I don't believe it. So like whatever they're gonna do, maybe they believe they're already in the hole too deep for like the design of this game, and they could do like a whole like, oh, we go back to the past, all the years reset, everything's deleted, and they redo a whole new progression system. But
Yeah, I don't
think
know if
that
you guys
would
are
be
reading
too
chat,
tough,
but
so.
Offensive's saying that he doubts that they go beyond deck gear. So like it just seems like there must be like a soft reset. Paraphrasing his words here, but he said that basically so much of the player base is gonna be so geared. Like, how do you catch someone up to that without just like, I don't know, having either a new
Yeah, but doesn't
accessory
it
that's
feel like
just
we've
much better?
had nonstop quote-unquote catch-ups this whole time? Does anyone else not feel like we've literally just had every update is a catch-up update? Like, why are we why are we doing more catch-ups if like we're already at the caught? Like, it just feels like really odd, I guess.
I mean,
to me.
at what
Like, it's
point?
like, hi guys, here's
Yeah.
another catch-up. Wait, the catch-up we've already had catch-up to? Like what?
I guess at what point does like they either have to scale their content that's already in the game, so like it actually makes sense. Like I don't know, like those gold bar workshops. Like when's the last time those were updated? Are those good money? Like I don't actually know, but
There's so
so
much irrelevant content they introduced
Yeah,
in this game.
don't
It's
talk
like
about
initially a
residents and
cool-
housing in BDO. It's such a shit show.
well tell
Yeah,
us.
they're pretty-
Okay,
Let's
that's
hear
what
it.
I'm- That's
let
what
me
I'm
talk about it
talking.
for 30 seconds.
But so I don't think most people
Jordan,
know
you wanna
about
go
it.
first?
Go ahead.
All right, let me just say one thing then. There are rank 1 houses which require you having the most points, which
Yeah,
you
interior
get from
points, right?
decorations, right? And that is a highly paid to win aspect of the game. If you've ever opened F3, they have a whole interior tab and tons of stuff that gets updated weekly. New
Yep.
stuff even. And people with rank 1 houses have like a shit ton of money put into the house. Long story
Yeah.
short, you get 1 or 2 crates a day if you have a rank 1 house.
How much those crates
Like
have in them?
let me actually tell you specifically. Like I have Olvia, right? I have a rank 1 house in Olvia, and I get each day I think like 2 or 4 grape crates.
And they have gold bars in them?
No, they're grape crates that you trade.
Oh, grape. Like they have
Uh-huh.
goods
How
in
much
them.
do you get
great.
for them?
Right, it depends. Okay, so these crates are worth 29,000 silver.
29,000?
Sorry,
Crazy big
29,000
money.
for
I don't have to grind anymore. Oh
460.
my gosh.
No
You get a
way.
few a day,
Crap.
bro. It adds up.
Wait, so you're getting like,
Wow,
oh my gosh,
what
wait,
a
let me do the math.
relevant content.
Is that, oh my gosh, is that
When you
87,000
trade it,
silver
you
every
get a
day?
bonus too.
Oh my gosh, that's like
Whoa,
300,
that's
400,000.
sicko.
Holy,
Okay, so irrelevant
Let's-
content.
that's
Okay.
so crazy.
My point is,
And you're like rank
they-
1 in
they
Olvia. Like that
continue
sounded so
adding-
cool.
I have, okay, let me tell you this. I have like
And then-
6 or 7 rank 1 houses. Let me tell you. Hold on. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 rank 1 house. 7 rank 1 houses. So, I don't
Wow.
think this Valencia guild house counts.
I mean, it's a great
Anyway,
example though, right?
It's
It's a,
that you wanted to cover though, Jimmy.
well, I just was trying to get
was
to
that
the
it?
point of, so there's like so much love that went into the open build of this game, right? And it seems like some people just kind of crapped all over it, frankly, for lack of a better expression. Like they took a pile of gold and they built like a box of lead around it. And
Yeah.
one can only think, did they even know what they were burying, right? That's the question.
Yeah, I use the similar analogy. Like they have a gold mine, but they're using that gold mine for coal. They don't know what gold's value is.
Yeah, I think that one of my biggest problems, I guess, with BDO is like I just wish there was like a sense of the direction. I feel like it was obvious we were going to move into the offhand and the armors because that was like the next step. But like, okay, but like then what's after this, right? We have people that I know of that either A, spend money, or B, dedicate their lives to grinding this game to get these upgrades.
Yeah.
But like all that the next grind spot is going to be is just more money per hour, which then like if money has no relevance in the game or the economy because it just means that you're going to click more crons for more gear, like what is the feeling of that value of your time invested, right? Versus, and I hate to bring this up, I know everybody hates this game, but old school RuneScape, when I know I'm investing time into a skill or something, I know what I'm
Yeah.
going to get out of it. Like I know that I'm grinding right now a boss to get an item, okay? And then when I get this item, that item is going to be extremely useful and isn't like slowly replaced by like another piece of content. You know what I mean? Like this item is a specific use case that I can use in a lot.
We're not going to give it
of
out
content
as
that'll
an
make
attendance
certain types of
reward next week. So
right.
you're good.
I'm not gonna log in and they're gonna be like, all right, everybody gets like a free lamp boost like in RuneScape 3 where you're getting like the Squeal of Fortune and getting all these boosts and stuff like versus like in BDO, like I could just not play the game and wait for the hard reset and be fine and not miss anything. Like there's for me, I guess personally, there's no FOMO. And again, and I made this comments before that like if you like the style of BDO and the grinding and how chill it is and fun it is, I 100% agree. I played BDO for literally 8 years nonstop straight. Like I literally played Berserker for 8 like straight years. It's a very chill, very enjoyable grindy game. Like there's no game that gives the chill feeling of like just locking into a grind and just cashing up, you know, making your stack of cash higher. Like I totally agree and enjoy that.
And the
But
AFK
at a
is
certain point, like I
unmatched.
feel like you want to have, sure, but at a certain point, I feel like there's a feeling of like wanting to feel like your progression mattered, and I felt like for a long time it did feel like it kind of mattered. Like every time I was like I remember back when I was in Sakurai, and I'm like, oh, you know, a little more AP, and then I can get access to this spot, and then that spot, and then this spot, and I feel like, I mean, maybe again because I'm at the end of the game, it doesn't feel that way, but I feel like as an end game player, there should always be like 2 or 3 extra rungs of the ladder added to progression.
Yep.
And I feel like there never has been enough to where it's like, all right, now I finally get access to a new piece of content. I was just always able to do all pieces of content. You could argue that, like, you know, that's again just because I was fortunate enough to have gotten lucky or grinded a lot early on or whatever. But I don't understand why you would introduce content that isn't going to like lead to like end game progression. Now, again, they could be stepping in that direction literally right now. Problem is for me, it's like too little, too late. I feel like I'm at the point where like I mean the progression for me isn't satisfying when I know it's just like grinding in circles. Like I'm not, because that's what for again for me it boils down to now compared to before. Before it was like, oh, you know, I'm grinding and I'm getting rare items and I'm clicking gear. Like, oh, I'm grinding because it's a really like the debos were a really rare item, so you had to grind really hard to get these items, and then that was a grind in itself just to get them. Then the access to crons was like another grind, and the access to get silver to do certain things was a grind. Like it was kind of, it felt like it was separated into a bunch of different goals, and now I feel like it's like now more than ever is it just one universal goal: more silver equals more cron equals more click for your gear. And I didn't feel
The
that
only
pressure
progression
before.
is in gear, nothing else.
Right, but like even new spots don't get access to a new exclusive item that like you are going to sell in the market because you have access to it versus someone else. Or even so, like maybe there is like the new crystals at new spot, but then no, I don't think there's ever been a new spot where there's like an exclusive thing that you are selling versus someone else that isn't like immediately accessible to a lot of content players. I don't know, like even the essences like for click of the devours for clicking your fail stacks, like literally they were high for a minute and then like
That's a good
they
point.
just buff drop rates and now everybody's able to buy them. Now they're literally sitting at thousands on min lists. Like every piece of content no longer feels exclusive except for the day one grind for like the boot or something or the gloves or whatever. But even the gloves weren't a day one grind because they told us a month ahead you could go and grind it ahead of time, which I just there's so many things wrong with like not understanding what, again, and this is just my perspective, what I personally like about the game or what hardcore grinders really like about the game. I feel like that is like severely misunderstood by PA. And I mean, fine, if they want to misunderstand their player base and cater to extremely casual player base, then I mean, it feels like they're nailing it on the head in that regard. But yeah.
Yeah, you made me
I
think
just don't
of
feel like the progression is satisfying at all. I
Yeah.
meme that Blue Squadron was making jokes about, oh, it's Cron Desert Online, Cron Desert Online. I was like, yeah, whatever. I think I was just like misguided or
jaded.
clouded by my
Yeah.
my want to grind for the rare items, right? My merchant ring grind, my LVI grind. Like I will admit, those were for sure in my forefront of my eyes
Yeah,
compared
that's
to
the good
other bits of
content, but
content.
there's none of it. There's like
But there's
3
none of it
items
anymore. Yeah, everything is now AFK. Like the wagon thing is AFK. The fishing stuff is like everything is like an AFK thing. Which again,
There
if they
should
want
be
to increase their
50
numbers,
treasure items though.
it's
Like,
working.
give
but-
people shit to do.
Like, do you guys think that
Yeah, I don't
making
know
a
why we
treasure
haven't
item
tried
is
to do
hard?
that.
Like, why do we only have so few? It's like a legit question.
No, of course not.
It's
They
hard
gave
to make.
they
I think
gave
it's really
out 2
difficult to
treasure
balance
items
it.
for free.
I think it's extremely difficult to balance because they don't want to make something that breaks the game or feels mandatory, right? When they literally did the mandatory, when they did the potion, they had to nerf it because it felt mandatory for most people. So I think it's really difficult to add a new thing to the game that doesn't feel immediately like, well, I need this, and so I'm gonna cry about needing it to get nerfed because I need it really bad. And PA made it something I have to grind for rather than I want to grind for. Like, you don't need a compass, you don't need a telescope, you don't need a map. You really, 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 really want those though. Like, and depending on the
the
aspects
merchant
of the
ring
game.
is the only one that you need for good progression. Everything else is kind of useless.
Yeah,
The
but even by the time
archaeologist
you
map
get it,
used to be better.
even
but
by the
not
time
as
you get
good.
it, it's not even worth it. Yeah, the map used to be good because you could pair it with the Oasis maps. The compass used to be good because it was for PvP. You could like call people to you for PvP. Now that doesn't matter because we have Magnus. The telescope is neat if you're just trying to cross the world, but literally all it does is save you like 2 load screens.
Right?
From
They
going
made
into a
they
well.
made
You
fucking
could-
horses useless too with the Magnus.
They made horses useless the Magnus. That's why they handed out the horses because it was no longer something unique or cool. Like, again, I think they're just continuously cashing in on like short-term players and not looking at their long-term player base, dedicating literally their lives to this game, which in my opinion is really, really sad that PA is just slapping the face of their long-term players. But even slapping them in the sense of not giving them good long-term meaningful progression. Cron Simulator Online is not good, fulfilling, meaningful progression. Like, yeah, number go up, but like if it doesn't fundamentally add or change or like, oh, now I can use one less ability in my combo, like that gap is not changed. I'm not changing my combo based
Okay.
on my AP. I'm not changing anything in my gameplay based on my AP. It's just literally number go up, which that can be satisfying in some aspects, but for how long of an investment it is, I think BDO is
Let me ask a
frustratingly
hypothetical.
bad.
If they made it so that like 20 plus grind spots dropped physical crons, like not really rare, but not super common either, just like Caphras when you're gathering and whatever, like it used to be. How
Mhm.
much would that improve the game?
It wouldn't improve it at all because all it would equate to is like the silver per hour you're making is now that thing.
Yeah, but
like
to me,
it's just it's
if
literally
I
a
got a
1-to-1.
cron instead of 3 million, I'd be more satisfied. Like if I did an hour of grinding and I saw I had
I'm sure
200
right now the
crons.
perspective is it would feel better. I don't think in the long term it would like feel
Oh,
better
sure,
because
yeah,
then we
yeah.
would just literally go
Might be
back
a
to
short
boiling
term
it down to like what it is. You know what I mean? Like I don't. I agree. It sounds good right now because we don't have it. I think once you have it, it changes. I think that
It is fucked how everything needs crons. Everything. Like nothing can
Yeah,
be
there's no,
progressed
like-
without crons.
like it's like
You can't
Yeah, I
gamble
don't
anymore.
know.
It's not a thing. Like no one's gambling for a Nov sovereign without crons. Or a Nov character.
yeah. I mean, back in the day,
excellent.
like you weren't like grinding enough to hit your pen dandelion when it first came out. You were like, man, I got a tet. Like, guys, do I click it? You know, I've got enough materials to get it back to try or tet, but like, dude, do I click it? Like, oh man, it could
You
go.
can't
like,
even do a pen
people
roulette
weren't-
anymore. It's not a thing.
Yeah,
But
pen rouletting is not a
couldn't you
thing.
play the game like that though, if you wanted?
You could, but it just wouldn't ever be recommended. Back in the day, that was like a normal style. Like
it was like
you
flipping a
could still
coin.
do it, and
Half the people it worked
and
for,
I
half
said
it
that.
didn't. Right?
When I talked to people who cried about crons, I was like, you don't have to use crons. Like I said that same retort. I was like, you don't have to use crons. Just don't use it if you want the game to be like not like that. But like after the
That used
last
to be
like
a
what
true case,
7
honestly.
stages of the game are
Yeah.
But
now
not anymore.
Like,
like
till Tet
it's not,
Disto,
you
basically.
cannot rebuild a 9 level weapon. They made the system make it so you have to use crons. You could build back a tri or tet weapon with a bit of materials with the way
Yeah.
the game was designed. Right now, you can't build back a 9 just by clicking randomly. It's forced design to make you go for crons, which is baiting for the cash shop, baiting for costumes, baiting for longevity and grind spots to get silver from grinding. Like it's all a bait to go back to the same exact currency that we're going down to, which is not fulfilling gameplay. That's like my bottom point is.
Yeah, it's
fulfilling.
short-term gratification, and then, what now?
Yeah.
Well, I think these are good thoughts.
Jordan,
If
what was your favorite treasure item to grind for as a life skiller?
The merchant ring was pretty fun.
Besides the merchant ring, sorry, that's not a good answer.
That
That's a
doesn't
cop
count.
out answer, buddy.
Yeah.
I'm having fun. I'm having fun right now farming the wagon piece. Or the
Is that the
wagon
lamp?
treasure item.
Sorry, talking about.
Yeah, I got 4 pieces. I need one more, which is the hardest
What is
piece.
the benefit of that exactly? When your wagon gets stuck more often when it moves faster, what's the benefit of it?
It auto feeds your wagon, so you don't ever have to feed your wagon again.
Feed your wagon?
Yeah, like repair it or whatever. Give it
Robert-
rations.
To just one more comment on this. Would you say that like every bit of accessories before Tet Distortions came out, or I don't know why I said Tet, but basically distos kind of were like the last thing that was like meaningful progression as an accessory drop that naturally dropped. Is that fair to say?
Were Dawns out before or after this does?
How are you spelling Dawn?
I actually unironically think that Debos were actually important.
Yeah, yeah.
So until Devils
because
came out.
before they nerfed the drop rates, I think that like it was a really like it was 20 hours to get one drop. That's crazy. That's like a lot of grinding for a drop. It was 20 hours to get a drop, which is
Yeah, it was
crazy.
insane.
Like, you know, I remember Vert literally grinding for months just to get his few. I remember Sunny or Biceptimus Prime grinding for months, for a year before he clicked his and he still didn't even hit pen. Like, that's some of like the most, you know, some people would argue it's the worst parts of BDO, but I think that it's the best. As much as people complain about RNG, complaining about RNG and pities not having the systems to protect players from being crybabies is what's led us to where we are now. Like having safety nets infinitely protecting you is what's got us to the system where we no
Debos
longer have
used to be
exciting fun grinds
treasures.
where something is rare. So yeah, Debos used to be a treasure accessory.
remember
we no
when you
longer
got your
have that
first
in the game.
Debo ring item so you can go do that stupid event? I remember
Yeah,
how
that shit
juiced
was
you got
exciting in
off
the
that.
beginning.
We
It was
got one at
exciting for
Turos
a
and it was
while.
exciting as fuck. Now,
Like
who
all
cares?
yeah, but because the rarity of something, the exclusivity of something not existing anymore basically makes everything milk toast in your excitement. Like I'm not excited for XYZ drop because it's just common. This is expected. The expectation of that thing eliminates any
And
surprise
true.
or excitement
And
for
most
the thing
things
itself.
aren't exciting either unless you get really lucky because most of the times you're like feeding hundreds of thousands of crowns to progress.
Yeah, but I mean
So
that's
it's
like a more of a mindset thing. Like I don't necessarily mind that like the debos were rare because it felt like a big moment when you were finally clicking that thing, right?
No,
I don't
meant
feel
like
a
getting
big amount.
pities on stuff.
Sure, but like
It's
right now, I
very
don't feel
demoralizing.
excited about clicking my deck accessories because it was just an inevitability to get access to the thing, right? Like it just was all it would take is time for me to do my weekly boss portal things, and then I just get the click. Like that doesn't give me any excitement. It doesn't lead me to any mystery. I didn't have to grind for anything. It just was an inevitability of something of getting it, right? And I think this is a psychological thing that I've argued with people for a long time. Knowing like the possible outcome or knowing the eventual outcome eliminates the fun of progression. I think that stuff being really, really random and it just maybe taking like right now I'm grinding a Boston RuneScape that I'm 1 out of 2,000 for this one item. And that just is the part of the thing that motivates me to grind. And I think that's what motivated me to grind in BDO was like, you know, not knowing when I was going to get an accessory drop or this drop or that drop was genuinely exciting. And no longer do I feel these levels of excitement because we've eliminated the access to that excitement. Like it's just that excitement just isn't there because we've taken it away.
I guess how long until it doesn't become exciting? Like if you killed the boss, say like 15,000 times, and then
Well,
are
I
you
mean, and
gonna
this could be
start
just
like?
this could be just me. Now that the number is so high, like it going higher and higher is just even more exciting. And this could just be my psychopathy. Like now it's like, okay, how high on the leaderboards can I now go for this boss before I get access to the drop I need? You know, like that's kind of where I'm at. Like yeah, I'm like kind of disappointed, but now it's like impressive because if someone looks at my profile in RuneScape, they're like, "Dang, this dude killed this boss this many times."
Yeah, he like
And although
lived
it's
that.
it's not a hard boss and it's not anything that like requires stuff, it still takes materials to do the boss. It still takes a lot of grinding to get the access to get to the boss. It's definitely not like one of the least fun bosses to do because it doesn't have any excitement. But it's like it now is like a thing where like even my 2,000 hours at my merchant ring for the Olin's piece, like that was an exciting, fun grind that people followed my adventure, my journey for 4 years. People watched and waited for me to get this drop, and like that's like that's the fun in it of itself, in my opinion. As compared to like knowing the eventual like, oh, if I just knew the boss was going to drop everything by 1,000 kill count, I would never have the possibility of the randomness of either getting all the drops in 5 kills, or like I just know that eventually it's going to pity out. So you then resent it because that's what's expected. And again, I think this
That's
is
what killed Brighter Shores.
psychological thing that players do.
I got a psychological question. Jordan and Jimmy, did you think the merchant ring grind was fun?
I'd say grinding with the friends was fun, but it's different for us because we were at least like getting good money, and
Okay, because I think the merchant ring was just like a requirement, but
you felt like it was a chore.
The least amount of fun I've ever had in the game. Yeah.
I mean, that's subjective though. I think different people will have a different.
It depends
reaction
where you're.
You
stuck
feel
on
like
your
it's
RNG.
necessary.
Well,
Do you feel that way
Yeah,
about
but I think
most
that's a
treasures,
mindset
Ghost?
thing, right?
Did you like grinding any of
One
the
more time?
treasures? Just for context, did you enjoy any of them?
when you
HP
say
pot,
like,
map.
yeah, the HP pot I grinded more than one.
Yeah.
The map I
What made it better to you?
enjoyed for the most part, except I couldn't get that one last piece, so it wasn't as fun. Getting really unlucky in a place that has no rewards except one small item that's rare is not that fun.
So, is it mostly about the money you're making while you're grinding it that makes it unfun? Is that a fair thing to say?
No. It's just progression in general. If you spend 1,000 hours grinding a spot worth 20 mil an hour compared to a spot worth 500 mil an hour,
So
your
it's kind of about
progression
money,
is
right?
Stunted.
But money isn't money a huge part of your progression in
It's not about money,
BDO?
it's about progression
But money is progression
Yeah.
in this game.
for the most part. It depends about your luck.
You're
though.
saying there's
You can-
alternatives, basically? Like, if
Well,
you
I'm
had
just
other
talking about
forms of
getting a
progression...
deck.
Yeah.
What's the difference between getting a deck in 10 clicks or pitying? Like, how big of a
Yeah.
difference? Are we talking?
Your month of January, basically. I don't know. Like, it's a lot of time. A lot of time.
It's like $1 trillion worth of silver difference.
Yep.
Crazy.
Yeah. Hundreds of hours now.
It's like getting a jar of dirt, bro. It's useless. But
Yeah, so the next section
but
is
I
about
think-
time gating, which is interesting segue, but go ahead, Jordan.
I was gonna say that's what makes the merchant fun though, is you have to grind the shit spot, and I don't know.
Yeah, nobody makes
like
it.
it.
Yes,
do
I
it.
agree. I think that the fact that there are some just garbage spots that aren't even ever worth doing, now they're making you go to get access to this thing that is going to benefit your account forever, permanently, is cool. I like that. I personally like doing something crappy, digging in the dirt, digging in the crap, digging through the trash to get a diamond ring. I personally like that kind of stuff. There's a lot of that in RuneScape that I personally really enjoy. Like, there's a lot of people that would argue certain quests are lame or certain diary achievements are lame or whatever. I love all that stuff. I like doing all this crazy, incessant, stupid kind of grinding to get access to something that is going to benefit me tenfold over. I don't know why people don't like the concept of working hard to get access to something really bountiful. I don't understand what that is, but there's a lot of people that hate doing the quote-unquote unfun thing to get access to the fun thing, and I personally just, I like actually working to get access to something. It's a weird sentiment that's carried through a lot of games where people just want and you could argue this is because of the instant dopamine that a lot of other things have to offer in today's society, like games and mobile games, different stuff like that. Everything is about just dopamine, and if people don't have like their palate cleansed, then like their perspective is like warped. I don't know.
See, it'd be fun to talk to Offensi because Offensi has literally only the Owens piece and like maybe like Ash and Crypt, but never did do Sakraya, like is still waiting for it. But I'm curious, like, what is the perspective of the person who's just like, you know, like, do they enjoy their time at Owens? I don't know. It's a little bit tricky to think about.
if your number one problem spot is Sakraya, you definitely are way more jaded for that grind. So,
Yeah, but it's like
'cause
so
it's the
easy, and the
worst spot
access is
in
just
the
there.
game.
You just do it. Like, you just turn your brain off and you just do it, like every other grind. If you pay, the problem I think is mostly people are just
That's
looking at
insane to
money.
say. That's okay. There's a grind
I
in
think
WoW
it's just people
called
are crying
insane,
about the money.
and you need to get rep from killing things for months, and it's easy. Just do it. Nobody wants to spend all that time and get nothing out of it.
Then don't
You're
go
not
for the
getting
item.
nothing out of it. Don't go for the item. The whole point is when you go into a grind, you're not saying, "Oh, I better get the crappy piece soon
Okay,
and the
we
really
can't.
good
this
piece
is
that
a
gives me lots of
stupid
money."
debate to have.
It might take a
'cause
long
your
time.
spot was
Because
Olin's,
oh
which is the most bountiful spot in the game.
It doesn't matter. It wouldn't have changed anything. I've done plenty of grinds where I've been stuck at a crappy spot, and it is what it is. I still take it on the chin. I don't cry about it.
Crappy, and literally the worst spot in the game are not comparable.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
Plumber
okay.
has
I knew
never
going
been in
into
that
the grind,
position.
my mindset was whether or not I get lucky or not. Like, oh well, you decided to go for it. Suck it up. Like, that's my
Yeah,
opinion.
like-
Pull yourself up by your
like-
bootstraps and don't cry about it. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, like let's
Booster?
pretend they come out with a grind ring where you earn 10% more trash at every grind spot, and one of the activities is you have to gather underwater. Are you just gonna say,
Okay.
"Well, I'm not doing it because
That's
I don't
good
want to
money.
fucking"? Like, if you want it, you have to do it. Like,
Yeah, but it's a relevant location that you can get relevant money at, whereas Sakraya is money that you'd get back in 2018.
okay, you have to kill grass beetles. That's one of the spots.
No, obviously people are gonna complain about that, not just me.
Well,
Yeah,
I
but
mean, if you want the
10%,
ring,
dude.
that's what you do.
I'd kill him.
I think it's irrelevant what it is. I think it's just like your determination to get the thing is not as strong as you think it is. Your will or your lack of like resolution or conviction is.
So
just
you
weaker
would
than
spend
you think it
100
is.
hours grinding grass beetles just to get an item.
If I wanted the item bad enough, yeah, I would do it, and I wouldn't cry
It gives
about it.
10% more grinding.
Dude, he grinded the
or
Elviite
whatever.
Ghost. Like, he was at Thornwood, he was at,
An
like...
item
that
that
is
gave me
not a
literally
bad
no
spot.
value.
It was back then,
Okay,
man.
the
It was
regular
not that
Thornwood
great.
and regular
spots is
Kuros?
not bad.
Yeah, but he was doing it for the completion.
Regular
You're
It's
Thornwood,
all-
literally
regular
chilling there with your
Kuros.
brain off.
The other difference is
Right,
that Plumber at
300
least had, like, his gear. Like, he had... I don't know. Like, I think there is something to be said about, like, if your gear is absolutely garbage, you might not want to grind, like, you know, a spot that feels... I don't know, like subpar, I guess, versus like if you're already
You were
towards
there
the
'cause
end
you were
of the
waiting for
meta.
Olin's groups, bitch.
Well,
I did
like,
a lot.
what are the
I did a
alternatives?
lot of my
right?
grinding literally on season with season gear. Like, my gear was not.
Right.
My gear was not part of the equation for Thornwood LVI at least.
Yeah, you didn't really care as much. You're saying, it's fair.
Yeah, because I don't. The gear has never been like the biggest motivator in BDO for me. It was always the rare grind. It was the grinding. The grinding was fun. That's what I care about. I never ever cared about money per hour either. Like,
what
I
about
went
like the
from-
beginning? Do you remember your
we went-
first
we
speedo
went from-
days?
Right. Remember when we were doing Miramach? And then I went to Histria to go get my compass. Got it in like 250 hours. I got really lucky. But I was like, wow, look how much money I'm making. And then like I just went and did literally anything else. Like I just did whatever grind I wanted to do, and money just kind of came with it. I feel like the players that boil everything down to money per hour and everything are going to be way more miserable than the player that just like enjoys the playing of the game and sets goals for themselves and goes for the goals. Like
Yeah.
I've never really counted my trash per hour. I've never really done any of that stuff that would drive a person insane. And then obviously so, as Ghost is complaining here now in front of us, has
Yep.
literally driven him insane just thinking about the fucking waste of quote unquote time because it was a crappy grind versus a good
So
one.
like, couldn't BDO
that's
cover?
You're
Cover-
not understanding. It's not that it's insane. It's just not fun.
It's also not
They
recognized,
should
right?
strive to make everything
that's your
in the game
perspective.
enjoyable.
Your perspective is it's not fun because you're not getting quote unquote something good out of it or something worth your time.
How
and
many-
Ghost,
value.
if you got
For the-
recognition,
for
would
the
that be
people
enough?
In the comments, for the people in the comments, please tell us how many hours you spent at Sakraya, Mr. Bomber.
Do you think recognition is part of the problem, Ghost Strikes? So like, if there was a high score or something that said, "Look how much Sakurai mobs I've killed," or
No,
something that said,
no.
"Look how much I've got here," or how much silver.
Irrelevant.
No, even if you were climbing a leaderboard when you're grinding for the merchant ring, wouldn't that be kind of crazy to see that you were way up on the leaderboard? Like, it's kind of like a kill count type deal,
It would
but
be.
applying it to
It would
PvE.
be better than it is now. I'd say that because then I could say, "Oh look."
Like
how
Sir
hard
Potter
it
was
was for me
there
to do
how
it.
many hours? Like, what's the number? Do we know?
Didn't he get carried off?
No. Sir Potter did not get carried.
Can we
I think he
please
was
find
there
out for
hundreds.
Blomber his hours at Sakraya? It's necessary for the research purposes.
It's not.
Anyway.
It's just a number that you're gonna get salty at.
Yeah,
'cause
you
it was
don't wanna
lower
s-
than your number.
It's not.
Can we
about
continue in the
me
ball?
getting
We gotta-
salty,
I
it's
know
about
my
should
number
try and
by
keep
heart.
moving.
It's not gonna change anything. Though.
All right, just say it so we can move on.
You already know my number.
I don't
Say it for the
remember.
record, then we can keep
Sakraya.
going. No reactions though.
Go ahead,
Just-
guess it. Guess it. Ghost.
Is it 10?
6,
Okay, add those numbers together.
16? Damn.
16.
Yeah. Ask me how
funny.
many I did at Paddocks, which is arguably a worse spot than
Okay. That
Then-
when you grinded it was a bad spot.
Yeah, he
I
did it
would
when it was
agree, but
horrible.
It's
No,
not
it wasn't
arguably
hold
worse.
on, hold on. It was not a bad spot. It was the worst spot.
It was
No
a duo spot. You're the one who
Yeah.
decided
Who
to
wants to
solo it.
grind? Who wants to grind Paddocks duo when it makes like 10 times less money than any other spot
Yeah,
at the time?
like
and
60
you
mil
have
an
to
hour or
buy a You have to buy an item that destroys the mechanic of the grind, so that way they don't kill you. But you have to. You literally are at a
All right,
silver
well, that's
boss
your
while
fault for
buying that
doing the
item.
grind before they made it better.
Yeah, but
there
he
it
did
is.
it,
Yep,
though,
there it
Ghost.
is. It's
The concession right
But
there,
this
yeah.
is the case in point. Ghost Rider's just gonna
Yes.
cry and complain no matter what, even if it was worse. His was worse because he says so. Like his is worse not because it was not worse, but because he doesn't think mine was
16
as bad.
hours, that's to cry out. You know how many hours I think it has to cry out?
It doesn't matter. It's irrelevant.
Times that by 10, 20, 30, 40.
Anyway, I think you both have points, but can we continue with the video actually and try and get to the Sedona armor? There's a little bit about time gating. I just want to
Yeah,
try and get to that,
Jeez.
and then we'll keep going.
Controlling the video.
When you finally stand before the ultimate boss of this world, it will feel truly meaningful and convincing. Through this journey of overcoming her, the story will naturally lead into the next 10 years of Black Desert. With this in mind, the characters we introduced earlier, Enslar, the apostle of the Elonian Church, the world's largest religion, Kashian, connected to the true nature of the Black Spirit, your adventuring partner, Jordine, and Kaphras, both closely tied to the power of darkness, and Rusalka, the queen of the mermaids, Corsair's bloodline, whose story has remained untold
We can skip
until
forward
now,
to Adana if you
have
want,
been chosen
honestly.
as bosses of
I think there's like another minute. Yeah, just go to skip monster zones too. I can summarize it, but basically there's progression from like right after Ozekia, right? I think I haven't written down, but let me just grab them real quick. So the zones that are actually going to be live, we know there are several. It looks like it's zone number 1 is 354, 27, 364, 40, 365, 445, 370, 450, and then 380, 460. So basically, they all go up 5 and then like 10 or 5 points basically. But 380, 460 out of the 5 castles, which we know the last 2 are going to be releasing September 10th. They only go up to 380, 460, and we also know that we're getting. It's literally 20. I think it's 20 AP from a deck offhand and 5 DP. So like once you get your offhand to probably Oct, I think you can grind at literally all of these spots, just FYI. So that's really all the context there is with the grind zones. We can watch this. I don't think we need to watch it on stream. But if you continue, there's a section after that for Adana's armor. It should be in there. It says we'll talk about it later. So like, oh, how will adventurers get to 460 DP?
just a video.
Thank you. It does look cool.
Wait, do you guys see a cape?
Yeah? You think it's part of the outfit? That'd be crazy.
What if it's not?
A new gear slot?
Yeah.
We can dream. I want my hunting
What you
cape.
just saw. Wait for it. There's clappies first. The clappies. I need to pause.
That
Pause.
deserved that
Pause.
tone.
What you just saw is the new primordial grade defense gear, Idana's defense gear.
Let's go.
As the next tier after Slumbering Origin defense gear, the new Idana's defense gear, especially the gloves and shoes, features a unique design that combines both damage reduction and evasion, much like how the Sovereign sub-weapon was designed as a blend of Nuva and Kuta. Right now, Slumbering Origin defense gears faces challenges. Similar to what the new Deborah accessories, enhancing Tet to Pen was set to be extremely difficult, and with no alternate methods, pushing your DP higher was a major struggle. With Idana's defense gear, we want to take a similar approach to last year's Sovereign weapons and Karazad accessories, but since we also revealed the Sovereign sub-weapon today, releasing all 4 defense gear pieces at once might be overwhelming. So, for Idana's defense gear, we've simplified the crafting process, but limited how often you can obtain the required enhancement materials. This helps prevent players from skipping multiple enhancement levels simply by having enough resources.
Oh,
If that
oh, that's
sounds-
crazy. It's the same thing they said last time. Okay, we'll see.
You don't
about
trust
that.
it. You don't trust it.
It's familiar.
I mean, I think they've learned their lesson. That's why they made the stones for the other thing happen like that, right? accessories like
yeah,
only
yeah.
able to be clicked like once every so. But it's just funny how they're just literally saying the exact same line. But yeah, we'll see.
We'll see.
It's because I've said something similar. This
Nice.
time, I'm not going to repeat the same mistake. To craft
Okay.
Idana's defense gear, you combine your existing TED slumbering origin defense gear with one fragment of Idana. You can get a fragment of Idana immediately after defeating a boss in Idania. So, if you already have TED slumbering origin defense gear, you can start crafting it.
No, not a rare item, not something you grind for.
Yeah, it
You
sounds
just
like it's
kill a
literally going to be
boss
like
and you just get the
100% drop
upgrade.
rate, right?
So you go immediately to the cron grind. Oh, rare item grinding? No, thank you.
Oh,
We're
I just
gonna
got a
go straight to
natural
getting you to
flame
grind
of
cron.
resonance. Sorry, I'm not grinding right now. Definitely not. Anyway, continue.
It's just funny.
Bitch,
that
I got a
just-
jar of dirt in the middle of this too.
Good
it's
job.
back
Let me
down
say
to just the crons, like not a rare item, not something we're racing for, not something every person's trying to get. Like back when the boot came out, everybody was fighting over grind spots and trying to find the closest 3 little mobs next to each other. No, not that. We're going straight back to, all right, back to silver per hour. Okay, very.
Is this gonna be like a world boss situation or a group boss that you have to get your friends
I
together
don't
and
know.
kill?
I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. All right, I'm
It's gonna be the same as last time.
Enhancing to Idana's defense gear requires a special material called Idana's Black Stone, which is crafted using fragment of Idana. Since you can only defeat one boss and earn one fragment of Idana per week, enhancing your gear to Idana's defense gear will take a very long time. If you already have 10 Slumbering Origin defense gear, you can craft and enhance each piece gradually. If you're still working towards it, you can gather fragments of Idana by defeating Idania's bosses ahead of time and plan accordingly. Currently, a few players managed to overcome the challenge of obtained Pen Slumbering Origin defense gear. As of June 23rd, across all regions, 77 adventurers own at least one Pen Slumbering Origin defense gear, with a total of 99 pieces. Since these
Crazy.
players have conquered such a difficult feat, they'll be recognized accordingly. Okay. Anyone who already owns Pen Slumbering Origin defense gear can immediately convert it to Oct.
That is crazy.
Yeah,
I don't
what-
know
I
what
wanna hear your
more is a
thoughts.
slap in the face.
This
the
is the
fact
worst
that
slap.
you clicked a 0.001% item. I understand the argument of like, well, we don't want the rich to get richer by having more gear. First of all, you can't sell it, so you can't get rid of it, so it doesn't mean anything. Second of all, like again, I'm not a fan of like people that are always ahead getting further and further ahead, but like of all the things in the game to actually mean something, this is it. This is the one where, you know what? It's okay if it's like max gear when you get it
I
because
clicked
it's
mine
just,
1,000 times. I got pity.
because
and
it
now I
literally
got
was
an ox.
1,000 pity and a 0.001%. Like it actually, and the cost of it alone is insane. It's actually crazy that this one wasn't given out for free. I actually, that is really really hard to believe.
It's
to be
definitely
honest.
worse than the pre.
Well,
the
well, what
Pendragon's
if the
pre-order.
cost? What if the cost actually is like if you want to get it to Oct, that's how much it costs.
I think that they should have scaled it to make it so that the pen was like equivalent. I think
There's
that, or maybe just
77
make it so
Just
that
to
if
not
you
be
had a pen,
insulting,
maybe
right?
you need like 5 shards or something. They should have done something to make it equivalent or whatever, or made the system design make it so that it's close to that, because it's insane. It was already like a point. The whole point of it was like it was a cost dump and everything. It's just a slap in the face to anybody that risked it for the biscuit and either did it or just kept slapping their gear just out of pure.
You guys reading
stubbornness.
Twitch
Like,
chat
it's
by chance?
I don't have it up. I have.
So
the,
Doctor just made a
thing.
comment, and I don't actually think he's wrong with this. He said, "Reminder that the only players that made Fallen Gods were either carried or bought it." Like that's not even true, right? Like, we just saw it was
People that
77
bought
people.
it are
Biohack
irrelevant.
slapped it a bunch. I'm not saying that there weren't carried people. There are a lot of people I know though that like
Right.
went and tapped it like crazy. There are people that bought it, but still, even so, the person that
Like what about the little ducks of the
regard-
world? Like
even
some people
so.
worked for it, right?
even so, it's like costs like a bajillion trillion silver, and you still need to have like what the first pre-order. So like even so, it's like, but like what is that going to do? It's not going to make someone absolutely dominate in PvP or anything. Like it's a meme item. I think that it should 100% have been
It's 3 more DP, bro. What do you mean?
like, or again, just make it equivalent by like saying you need like 4 or 5 shards to make the thing. Like there's a way they could have done it, and they, in my opinion, chose the wrong path to respect the player that went for it or grabbed it or bought it or wasted the money. Whatever the case may be, it's just a slap in the face that person is now at the same like basically sort of progression as every other player, and the pities and everything are not even going to probably reflect it. So it just seems like a slap in the face. But whatever. I just like respecting my grinders. My bad.
No one pitied it.
Alright.
Does anyone know?
There's no way.
Why is there no way?
There's just no way.
You don't know any oil
click and play.
princes?
Dana's defense gear. As I mentioned earlier, because upgrading a Dana's defense gear all the way to Oct will take a significant amount of time, you'll be ahead of other adventurers in the world for that time. As for the enhancement difficulty, the success rate from Tet to Pen is 14.87% with 240 stacks, and from Sept to Oct it's 4.99% with 310 stacks. The Ancient Anvil system will also be applied, which we set to 30 Agris Essence for Oct. Please keep in mind, we've set a lower
30 pity for the same 1,000 pity. We just saying, just for a little perspective.
I don't know what
30
your complaint
pity
is, bro. It's balanced.
to be equivalent. Just saying.
difficulty and the Ancient Anvil attempts compared to
No,
soft.
don't do the pity number. Do the cron number. How many crons to pity this?
Yeah,
compared
I
to
was
how
gonna
many
say-
crons to pity the other one.
There's something
I was gonna say, what if the crons are like 15,000 crons for
I mean, it's
one
still
of
wouldn't
them?
Cap?
equal the amount.
be
It's
like
like four.
literally
What is it?
12,000.
400,000 or 4 million crons?
Yeah, it'd have to be
Do
like
we know?
100k crons, 130. It's 4k crons and 1,000 pity, right? So 4 million cron stones to pity if you really did.
Yeah, what if it costs 4 million crons up to Oct?
I'd be
You think
okay
it's
with
gonna-
it if,
I'm
if
sorry.
that's what it
you
was.
think it's gonna? I'm sorry. Do you think it's gonna cost 4 million? crowns?
Obviously
No
not.
shot. No shot.
Maybe.
But it would be.
And
just
Some
you
as
people
guys
think
make
it
them,
could.
and then
Was still playing BDO?
And-
If I was still playing BDO and they said that to me, I would quit immediately. I would be done at that comment right there.
but then you're making like 4 to 6 bill an hour or whatever.
Either way.
We're a long way away,
The-
regardless. Yeah. So,
Alright, I'm gonna-
what do you think about it being time gated, though? Any thoughts?
I think they should have done that with the weapon. I don't. Them doing it with the accessories was smart. Doing it with the weapon was smart. It's the only way to taper off the advancement of progression for people that are paying to win or whatever they're trying to slow down the progression. This is the way. Do I
It's
think
good for
it's
content
right?
too, right?
No, I think it's good. Yeah, I think it's good for that. I think it sucks because I don't personally like time gating my progression. I like it to be, I'm gonna grind until I get this thing. But is it the way that BDO kind of needs to be right now because of the way they've designed their game? Yeah, I would say that that's the case. I think that they've royally fricked up the game though by doing this. But
Is there something to be
they
said that
they
like,
just keep digging themselves in a deeper hole?
do you ever feel like people who get unlucky should be able to like accelerate the time gate? Isn't there something to be said about that?
No,
You
No.
you prefer not to? No.
No.
Same experience. So if someone one taps
personally-
something.
I do not.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't give any deference to the lucky to the unlucky guy. I've had my fair share of luck. I've had my fair share of bad luck. You take it on the chin. In my opinion, if you truly believe in like RNG and balance and all that stuff, you just take it on the chin and say, I'm getting unlucky here, but I'm gonna get lucky later. Like everything overall balances out evenly eventually. For every guy that like went in and got their enhanced crystal weapon seed, or one
Fallacy.
tap their black star, or one tap this or that,
Yeah.
they're going to one tap something else, but they're going to forget about it. They're only going to remember the bad times, and I think it's bad to like focus in on that. I think it's bad to cater and give in to, I don't know, criers, whiners, complainers, the weak-willed, whatever you want to call it.
That's fair.
I personally, but I'm a grinder at heart.
Yep.
These people will say they're grinders, but cry at any bit of grinding, like Ghost Rags. Like, I mean, he's literally cried about a spot that literally is like so AFK brain dead grinding. You're just chilling and literally you could hold
When you
S,
say it's
LMB, or
AFK, bro,
SRMB on Zerker.
You are a
and you just sit there and
berserker.
hold that button. You could play any class, you could tag anything nowadays, and you could literally just hold right click and kill everything, and he's somehow still complaining that it's like terrible. I don't know.
What class can you play AFK besides Zerker? Tell me.
Like a bunch of them. There's a bunch of classes you could just do it.
Not
Even so, you
which.
can just tag everything nowadays. But
Yeah, but
I
then
just-
that
I
would
don't know.
require me to play a class I don't want to play.
people will
You're
cry and say, "Oh,
cascading
Blumber,
me
you just say
on
that
my
because you're
grind?
lucky." Blumber, you just are, you just have that criticism because you've been lucky on
16
everything. You've never been
hour-
unlucky. I can't know what it's like to have someone else's perspective. I only know mine. But even on, again, the Olin's grind, it was 2,000 hours. Even before that, it was Thornwood for thousands of hours. Even before that, it was whatever other grind. Like, name a grind and I'll do it. I've done 2,100 kills at Zilliana and I still don't have my friggin' SGS so I can get access to another thing in the game. I don't care. It doesn't matter. I did 1,500 for my garage door Bandos gear. Like, I don't know. I like grinding. I think people pretend they like grinding and just like getting lucky. I think people like to gamble. And that's, that's fine. Just think you're gambling for your time and you're upset that it's not going your way. I don't know.
Jordan, any thoughts?
Nope.
Does Prion
you want me to
play it all into
continue?
this? Just like I don't know, the fact that it's still tradable, or that like we're pretty sure the Sidonia gear is going to be untradeable, right? That seems to be confirmed.
I think everything's going to be untradeable from
Prion
now
has
on.
crashed. I don't know if you noticed. Like Prion is.
Yeah, I
not-
kinda-
It's less than it used to be when it was
I
pending.
kind of wish Prion was like Karazad.
Yeah, you would prefer it to be untradeable, so people wouldn't be offloading it, kind of.
Right, right. So you couldn't just buy it. You have to actually like do the work to upgrade it. Because now you can just buy like a 350 bill deck pre-owned or whatever, and on average it costs like 500 bill.
I really
so it's
wish we
just
knew
like-
why they decided to not make or to make Prion
And
tradable.
mana should
Essentially,
have been deck pre-owned also.
it's very strange.
And I don't know. I think Pendebo should have been deck Karazad also. I don't like how they just keep moving the goalposts. I know they need to make content, but
I mean, part of me just thinks they're
Make
moving the
different
goalposts poorly, right? Like, it's not just that they're like I think every BDO endgame player expects them to move them, but like the example that we just said about like the Fallen God is such a good example. Like, they could have made it the highest tier and scaled it, but they like actively chose not to. But that is a little bit souring, right? Something about that kind of rubs me the wrong
Yeah,
way.
so
Like,
any
it's
effort you
77
have in
people.
either
especially.
getting the silver to get the pre-order, or getting the stones to click it, or just risking it for the
That's
biscuit. Every
crazy.
hammer ever used is now just like wasted. Like,
They could have given them like
where's
one
the
full
logic
patch,
coming
right?
from?
Yeah, like they could have given
Where-
them a full
Where's the
full
logic
patch.
coming from? A Pen Debo turned into a Nav, a Pen Manos turned into a Oct, and now this Fallen God, which should definitely turn into the final form, turns into an Oct also. Why a Pen or a Nav Oct Oct? Like where's
Like,
the
part of me
logic?
thinks that they're
Why?
giving like some of these guys something more to go for, but at the same time, it's like nobody has 4 of them, so everyone
but,
still
like,
has shit
that's
to
not-
go
Four
for.
pieces
That's
of
not the point.
obliterating.
I'm
Like,
not.
I don't know.
I'm not hitting my pen obliterating armor so that I can be like, oh man, I can't believe they gave me max gear. I really wanted to kind of keep grinding. Like,
You
no
never know.
shot is that ever happening.
Yeah,
Ever.
it's probably like
No.
one
Do
of
any
those
the
77 people.
77
There's no way any
people
player
have
that
Maybe
ever
one
went
of
through that
them.
is like, you know what, they should have made it Oct so I could keep grinding. Now my grind is over sooner and I'm bored. Gosh darn. No, it's just silly. It's just silly.
Well, I think that's really everything we want to talk about. I feel there's like a lot we could kind of go in circles about, but you guys have any closing thoughts? I think we should try and wrap it up. Anything else?
I think that BDO PA has got themselves like in a predicament where like they have to go down a particular path because they've kind of just designed the game in this way. They had to unify the offhands because creating a like separation in PvE and PvP makes it so that PvE players cry about PvPers who went the PvP path and don't care about grinding, and they can kind of take advantage of them in the open world because like we don't have the defenses, because why would I grind? Why would I wear my PvP gear to go grind? That's kind of stupid. And so they're trying to reunify things, which they shouldn't have separated in the first place back in the day. But whatever, it should have all just been one gear style. But people cry that they want diversity, but what diversity causes is then you to cry about not having your PvP gear on and now asking for a universal preset. So you just cried for one thing and now you're crying for the opposite because you don't know what you want. And that's just like every BDO player 101. When it comes to the gear, I mean, like, it was obvious that they were going to make it time-based. It was obvious they were going to do like, oh, you know, it's going to go to... I thought that Tet would have been higher than Pen, but I also understand they want to leave something to grind for, and so they then kind of. Again, I don't know what the current DP is right now versus getting gear to DP. I think you said if you get Oct or something for the
Yeah.
offhand, you can grind in the areas. Do we have 460 DP right now? I don't know. I think I had 430, 440 maybe.
It's a 438
I
with
don't know,
Tet
but-
armors and AP build. But one sec, you just reminded me, and Doctor's comment, the segue that we did miss here, which is probably like the best way to close out, is to talk about the scaling patch that just happened, because
What about the delay?
it's in the ball. If you can go back to the sections, there's one more section we need to cover, and that's about the AP scaling patch. I don't think we should talk about like PvP and Blue Battlefield and the delay. That's all minor stuff. But like the scaling patch is definitely like the most important part of the progression. That's probably where I was trying to get to, but I thought we kind of talked around it.
I think
Anyway.
breaking the game is minor.
It should be about like adventure
How
scaling.
early on is it or late?
Let me check. Pulling it up on mine as well. Not the
Damage
2024
formula
file.
recalculation.
Yes. Yes. Do you see character growth in PvE adjustments? 139, 138, 137-ish?
Yeah.
That should be where we go. Just pull that up.
Key area, improving the sense of growth. Going
this is
forward,
key.
if your AP is above 310, you'll gain +5 extra AP against monsters for every point of AP. Of course, these are still under tests for balance adjustments, so the numerical values may change. But up until now, while gear performance have always been important, once you reached a certain AP threshold, you likely noticed that the impact of further increases felt much less significant. This was intended to reduce the pressure of gear upgrades, but as time passed, we decided it's time for an improvement. For this, we're reworking the overall PvE system, including monster zones, to resolve this issue and create a better environment for everyone. Previously, monster zones had an unclear AP limit or soft cap, had inconsistent hunting efficiency. And some classes were even able to perform in higher level monster zones with lower AP. So, we first reassigned the AP requirement of all monster zones with care. Our goal is to clearly outline the required specs step by step, and to create a system where falling below the AP requirement significantly reduces your efficiency, while meeting the requirement provides clear rewards. We especially want you to really feel the result of increasing AP throughout this process. That's why, as a part of this monster zone overhaul, we've designed the AP limits or soft caps in a much more systemic way.
Can you pause here?
If your AP goes above the requirement of a monster zone, your efficiency
So before they even get to the numbers, like, I want to say that, like, I think the intention is good. I think what they're saying so far makes sense.
Yeah,
Do you guys agree with that?
They got themselves to this point, so they kind of need to do this. This is like
Yeah.
a long time coming of like, man, we really kind of fricked some stuff up, and boy, we need to fix this. Like, yeah, for sure. Like, meaningful progression didn't feel meaningful. It's like I said earlier, is that like, you know, I got all this AP and I'm still at the same grind spot. I don't feel like I'm doing my combo faster. I don't feel like I'm doing anything. But like, I don't know who or where I was, but like, I think Jay and I maybe have said this in the past. They have to do some sort of like bring back AP brackets, but make it monster damage. Maybe we said this in one of the last podcasts we did.
Sure we
too.
did. I'm sure
Is
we
that
did.
the only way to make that meaningful progression come back is to design brackets, but for monster damage specifically? And they literally are doing that. Like, they literally, they're listening, guys. They're listening. You know, like, but you could argue that they didn't need to listen to our podcast or someone else say that. It's the obvious like next step. Like, every mistake they make in the past, they turn off and then remake it in the future. But that's because we don't have current meaningful progression, because they don't have. I don't think they have a coherent design of like, okay, when you hit Pen Black Star, you should be at this spot now. Like, I don't think they do that. For some reason, they're just like introducing arbitrary numbers just because. I don't know. Because like I don't know why we haven't said like, okay, yeah, you know, when you reach this stage of gear, you should be at this spot with this stuff. Like, that's not happening for some reason in the game, which should, you know, they should have an idea for like, okay, now you're accessing this spot, and that's just not. I don't know why. I really don't. I don't get
Well,
it.
did you hear
Now
what they
this is
just
kinda
said
doing it.
too?
Right, this is a way that they're doing it, but they have to do this because they fudged up the progression. Like, they literally are making it
I'd
this
agree
way
with that.
because they
Well,
fudged it up, which isn't bad. It's just the mistake should have been made in the first place. We should have just said that
No,
if we're going from Tet to Pen, then like you should be accessing a new grind spot or something.
no. So they said they wanted players not to feel like they have to push their gear. That was the whole reason they didn't expand the AP brackets. So what do you think about that?
Could you restate it in a different way? I'm sorry.
Okay, so he literally just said that at first we made the AP, or we didn't add AP brackets because we didn't want, or we didn't want the players to feel like they had to keep like they had to be like on a wheel basically. Like if you rewind it, you can hear him say it.
Right.
And then
I
now they
disagree with that. I think the whole point is that you should be wanting to grind your gear to get more stuff. So I think that their concept for design is flawed. Personally, I think that I want to be motivated to go and get gear, and this company is saying right now that we didn't want people to be motivated to get gear by having some artificial growth to their gear.
or
I
feel
think
the
that's
pressure
crazy.
to push gear. Yeah.
You should always be feeling
I
the
was
pressure. Of all games to do it, this is the game to feel that pressure because every point
Jeez.
should feel like it matters. Like I understand like not feeling like the concept of, well, I have to grind or else the game's going to outscale me and outdate me, like, oh no, they're going to release a new weapon that's better, but like BDO just hands it out to you anyway, so it doesn't matter. But like I think that BDO of all games is the one to feel that pressure, and people feel it even inherently, and it's designed by having an open world PvP game. Like you're constantly chasing the wheel of like, I don't want to get killed by a PvPer. Like I personally chase that wheel forever. I was like, I gotta get geared so that way when some dude comes to stream snipe me, I'll be able to defend myself, or at least he won't be able to kill me. Like that existed inherently no matter what, so them trying to prevent the feeling of that, I think, is idiotic. Personally, I think that you should feel the progression, the push of progression for whatever you want. And again, this could be just the design of the MMO. Like they don't want people to feel the pressure, so they underhandedly push the players ahead and ahead and ahead by having all these handouts and give outs. But I personally like the opposite design, where it's like RuneScape, where it's like I feel the pressure of getting gear because that progression is meaningful. It gives me access to something new. It gives me,
It makes you want
you
to
know,
play.
a new boss to access or a new thing to kill or a new point of progression to push. I personally just really like that design. And again, this could just be to each his own. I think that's like a motivator in and of itself versus them saying, well, we don't want to pressure people into doing it. Bro, the amount of FOMO in BDO compared to any other game exists super, super, way more than like a lot of other games. Like I don't, like it's like WoW at this point to me, where I feel like, okay, I have to constantly keep grinding to keep pushing. So them saying like they didn't want to create that, I mean, maybe for your everyday casual player that's like logging in for an hour of a day to play, like
Right.
maybe they wanted to eliminate that, but like I don't think BDO. I don't know.
Can you
I don't know.
replay it? Maybe let's get the
I
information
think you can
too.
play BDO as a casual player. I just don't
so-
think it should be.
so-
I don't know, catering when it's a grindy game.
Right. So I was gonna say, didn't you make a comment though, like a while ago, that like RuneScape, you don't feel like you have to have the need to like get to the next content. You can kind of just like. I feel like you said something about
Yeah,
RuneScape that had
I
to do
think
with
that
that.
RuneScape has. Yes, I think RuneScape has a particular design that like I don't need to push for anything besides my own motivation to do so, and I think the game allows you to feel the want to push gear. Like I have a friend that wants to like play a lot, um, but like he doesn't have to. He's not missing out on anything other than just getting access to the thing by the time he puts into the game to do the thing. Versus like in BDO, if you don't play the game for 6 months, I felt like for a while the game was like, oh, if you don't play for 6 months, you're not really gonna miss much. Maybe some balancing tweaks, but like everything is still relevant. And I feel like BDO felt like that for a while. I feel like now if you take a break in BDO for 6 months, you're gonna log in, you're gonna get handed like 20,000 crons, and you're gonna like have no idea where to go or what to do. I mean, I see that question asked on the Reddit
Bro,
daily.
low
like,
key,
hey, I haven't
the
played this game in
attendance
2 or
rewards
3
are
years. What
Kingdom
do I
of
do?
Miscellanea.
Yeah, I'm just
Come back
well,
to all
sure,
these
yeah.
rewards.
But like it's
a little
just
bit,
crazy that
yeah.
like I have people that I read on the Reddit, they're like, hey, I haven't played in like 2 or 3 months, or I haven't played in 6 months, or I haven't played in a year. What do I do? And I'm like, I don't even know what to say other than go grind at a grind spot. Look at your AP and go grind, because like I don't even know how to like catch a player up to like what do you just start doing if you just come back to the game. Like I really don't know what to say other than like do I tell them to go make a seasonal character and re-level and just get familiar with the game again like that? Do I tell them to do one of the 20 different events, like the new the what is the current one where you have like a mentor and mentee system? Like, do I tell them
It's
to just go
cracked,
grind
yeah.
and not pay attention to anything else until they get their bearings? Like, I feel like there's like 50,000 things of like, again, that sort of FOMO versus like, I feel like players should want to play because they want to work on their personal progression and get access to things in their game and their account. And I feel that in RuneScape, I don't feel the pressure to play because of the game's inherent design to want to do so. And I think that BDO, again has dug themselves in a hole where they kind of have to create that by giving us like daily locked content, weekly locked content, because like if people can just see the game and be like, well, I don't have to play because they're just gonna, you know, make it easy mode for me like later on. Like I think a lot of people do see that right now, and that's why we have the phishing epidemic where people aren't actively playing the game and just doing this AFK mode, where I personally think that's a plague on the game because it's not, I don't think that's how the game should be played. And again, some people like that. Some people like there's different arguments to be made that like, oh, a predatory game that requires you to constantly be logging in and grinding and grinding and grinding is really toxic. So like having that game now allow you to make progression like passively, like AFK, while like, you know, just doing some chill fishing grind is like a good thing. And in some ways I could see that as a positive thing. For as grindy as BDO is, yeah, maybe it is a good thing they have some passive AFK grinds. But replacing the entire grind with like a passive AFK thing where like I'm not actually actively playing the game and I'm just like turning on the fishing simulator every night, I think that's problematic. I don't think that's like good game design. If that's like what your players are motivated to go and do, I don't think that's good personally. I think that's a flawed game design.
I don't know. To me, it's like the exact same thing as the shooting stars. No, like it's the same way people look at the game. Like I personally haven't touched fishing at all in the entire time I've been back in a month, and I have no desire to.
Sorry, what do you mean? It's similar to shooting stars.
Well, some people just log into the game to like AFK for 20 minutes every day. It's like the same kind of like low effort gameplay. It's just really like an alternative to me.
Right,
I
but
don't
like
know
when
if
you're
it's
doing shooting
primary.
stars, you're not getting like 1,000,000 GP per 30 minutes, right? Like
Well, if you're looking at
not
income as
generating millions of
progression, but
GP in the
RuneScape
game.
players look at levels as progression. They're getting better mining and access to the
Sure.
best mining spots in the game.
I would say it's similar rewards, but fishing in BDO beats every skill in every game because you, like I
It's
said,
overpowered
you
as
can log
hell.
in after maintenance and never touch your game after. It's stupid.
Yeah, but you only make 300. You make what 365 bill in an entire year. You can make that in like a month if you
A week.
actively play.
A week.
Yeah,
or
but
you
players
can
aren't
go
actively
away for
playing
3
when they do the
years and have
system.
a trillion when you come back.
I mean, but
Huh?
the thing is, like, players aren't actively playing in, like, some are actively playing and cooperating in the system, but there's some players that, like, just are not playing the game. They're just going to come back, like, once every few weeks or months. I think that that's bad game design. I think you want to want your players to play the game. I don't want to, like, go AFK fishing and play another game. I think that that's just horrible.
Do you know about the AFK, or sorry, the attendance rewards coming out next month? It's like 10,000 crowns or some shit.
Yeah, I think that
A random
all
event,
that
too.
kind of game design is extremely just toxic. Sorry, go ahead, Jimmy.
Well, it's like random. They didn't even announce it. Like it's half as big as a ball. It's arguably bigger than anything we had before last year for like the bi-yearly. Like it's just big. It's very
I
large.
just
Gonna
also
have
just don't
people
want like
come
the
back,
type of handouts. I
for
don't
sure.
want a game design that like they feel the need to like give us like back when we were regulated by events and not by grind spots. Remember when the only way to get ogre rings was by events that they'd come out with every few weeks? Or remember when Belay Boquest saved up all the materials because he was tracking the events, so he knew to put a bunch of junk in wagons that would sell when the events were gone. So people would stock up when the events were going, and then resell and repackage and redistribute it through the market when the events were like. I don't like that kind of economy. I think that's an extremely toxic game design, toxic game economy. I don't think I like that
Bro,
in any way, shape, or form.
People wait for the patch notes to come out in SEA and then storm the central market doing all sorts of shit. to
Yeah, I mean
make
that
money.
already currently exists. Yeah, I don't like any of that. I don't like that game design at all.
Yeah, it
I think
shouldn't be a thing.
that's just super toxic game design. I don't think the company should be feeling happy to do those kinds of updates. I think that's just like sort of gross. I want to be motivated to play the game because I feel a good sense of progression and I feel like good about my progression and I'm making meaningful gains and I'm accessing new content or getting something. And again, I'm in the mid to end game at RuneScape, and I'm at the end of BDO, and it could just be that perspective. But I don't know. I even talked to end game players who are just chilling, doing their thing, or just remaking like a hardcore, or remaking a group mode, or whatever. And they have the replayability. Versus, I don't think. I mean, people are doing quote unquote Ironmans in BDO, but I don't think it's like the same in any way, shape, or form. But I don't know. I think the inherent game design is different, and I just don't like it anymore. It's too far gone from what I did like about the game.
I just wish you could progress without having a cronstone. That's all I want back. I want to be able to
You
pen
can.
roulette shit.
You don't have to use cron.
No, you can't.
Yeah,
It'll
you
be
can't-
way
you
harder
can't say
though.
that. No,
It'd be like 1,000
be
times
way
harder,
harder.
but you can do it. Without it. Yeah, but the problem is before
Eventually
the
you'll
system
get it
was,
'cause
it was
the
only
bidding-
like, it was like maybe 5 or 10 times harder with no crons before. I mean, we didn't even have the economy to buy the amount of crons that was worth to tap, but now we do, right? Like, you could tap without crons, but you just ever wouldn't. But back in the day, people were tapping without crons. Yeah, it would be a build back, but it wouldn't be like so phenomenally insanely hard. It was like
Now it is
it was
insanely
doable.
hard, though.
Now it's
Like,
impossible. No one is
You
going
take
to
all your
risk a
Pendebos,
9.
you translate them into
Be the
6
first,
No one is
knobs
going to
and
do a
decades.
9 for 10
first.
tap. It would
Yeah,
take.
go
I
for
think. I think
knob.
if we did the math, it would literally take like 50 to 100 years to do something like that. I think it would just be some ridiculous, some absolutely non-realistic, ridiculous number, which is sad. I think that should not be.
It's like deleting free artisan memories. It doesn't
They've
make any
made
sense.
it part of the design of progression, not like an option. Like, you shouldn't even be, at this point, you shouldn't be able to click gear unless you have a cron stone. It shouldn't let you click the enhance button unless you have the cron stone. Like, I don't even know why the button is there to select it, because no one is going to click their gear without a cron stone. Like,
Yeah,
it's
Like
for
an
sure.
it's a
actual
meme.
gear, sure.
Jimmy, what about your comment where you accidentally clicked without a cron stone?
Well, I skip clicked 5 clicks, and I guess I did the math wrong, so I only could have done 4, but it doesn't warn you. It just sends it. It's crazy.
It just sends it. That's
Yeah.
terrifying.
It sends it
Skill
down
issue.
from Nav to Oct. That's what happens. I guess 1 in 16
Ooh.
people will make that mistake and it'll actually go. But you know what? That wasn't me.
Just be happy that it doesn't send it to literally disintegrate like it used to be. Imagine
Yeah,
if
you
you
said
tapped
you
it
missed
and
that.
it disappeared. I do miss that. Just when things were cheaper, shit.
Yeah.
Like I remember
wanna
going
continue?
to Dark Rifts and being excited to get a drop that I could click.
Damn, that
Now
was a
you
long
do
time ago.
Dark Rifts and you don't want to click any of that stuff. It's a waste of time.
Well, when Dark Rifts came out, those were all rare accessories. Like Ring of Crescent Guardian was so freaking hard to get, dude. You guys ever grind crescents?
Even
I legit
Chad,
never
you
got
had
a
to-
Yeah,
crescent
I
ring in
never
like 12
went and
hours.
grinded crescents. I got them from events. I got them
Yeah.
from events because we had
Yeah.
an event-based economy that was flawed. Because no one ever went to
No, I remember
crescents
when
to grind
ogres
it.
Well, no, you could go
Some
to
people
crescents.
did.
You
Some
just
people
wouldn't
did.
get any. I had
Some
like
people
80 of
did.
those pity pieces. I never got to 100.
You'd
Like
get all the
event-based BDO took
soiled
over
rings,
first.
but not the
Yeah, I was like
it's a
80% of the way
joke.
to making my first ring.
By the
And
way, I
then,
think soiled rings and accessories are still in the game. Those are
They
so
are.
out. Oh, man.
I think I deleted
Do you want me
mine.
to continue this segment?
Yeah, I mean, there's a little bit of details here that'll probably just make you more angry, but why not?
Oh,
Keep going.
Okay, maybe not then.
Well, keep going, keep
I,
going.
I mean, is there any other additional points other than like what I've obviously stated that
They're
like,
hard capping zones
know.
at 5%, Blonder. That's the number. So
what do you
all
mean,
AP
5%?
like they have these really tight ass ranges, pardon my language, but like really tiny AP ranges, and then once you pass it, only 5% of your AP after that matters. So everything's like Elvia, where like you literally just like would rather leave than keep grinding a spot you like. It's really
Wasn't
sad.
some of the funnest parts about grinding is when you got so much AP, you just outscaled it and you can absolutely
Yes!
dominate it and create
Yes!
like a new
I made a video on this.
design of a grind spot. Like you could go and be like, you know what, I'm just gonna do some crazy. I'm gonna go to some crappy spot, but because I have so much AP, it'll like actually make it good. And instead, we now like are just nerfed. It's like I could get griefed by someone at 250 AP and me being at 400 AP because the grind spot only takes a portion of your gear after that. I feel like that's such a meme. I mean, it's a way to regulate it. I just don't know if I agree with it. Like, imagine going back to chickens in Lumbridge with like Torva and like you've got your scythe and you do a max of like 1 hit to it because it's
Oof.
like scaled.
Don't. Ouch. That's painful.
Like 3 1-hit splats on the chicken. Like that would be so stupid. I just don't know why we. I don't know. I don't understand the thought process of like nerfing the fun of like getting absolutely bonkers gear. Like why are we doing that? Like,
I wish I had an answer for you.
Takers onto why we want to like nerf the progression or nerf the like window of like, oh, I grinded for all this gear. Why do I not have all of its ability and usefulness at the whole entire game? Like why am I like how horrible does that feel to say I have a Pen Black Star and what its usefulness at a level 1 grind spot is 5% of its worth because
It's like a
they've
Rosar at
made it-
Duo.
right.
What's wrong?
Now my Black Star is worth a Duo main hand at this spot because they've capped the grind because they don't know how to design grind spots in a good way. So they have to like nerf the capability of your grind. Like, so like, oh man, that just so like,
Kind of,
does that not
kind
feel
of.
like a hard? Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I kind of feel like it's kind of like the leveling thing. Remember when if you or I think in the past with BDO, if you out leveled the mob, you would stop getting XP or something like that.
Yeah, yep.
It's kind of like that, but
Would
for
hurt your,
Yeah, that's
your
horrible.
loot.
For an open world game where everything is like a super sandboxy type thing where like you could just go do anything and everything you wanted, I feel like that's such horrible design that's like sticking you on this rigid path of like, okay, you could go grind like Thornwood right now, but like it's really, really not recommended. Like there's no reason to because you're not doing any damage to it past 250 AP. Like that's crazy. Like I can't ever go back. Like I can't skip a grind and be like, oh, I'll go back to it when it's a lot faster now. It will not be faster. It will not be significantly faster than just doing it at the recommended AP. Like now grind spots will always be like what's the point of having gear at that point? Like right? Like if it doesn't actually give you dominance over like an earlier grind spot and only gives you access to new things, why are we not just on a level based system that like scales our damage based on our level, right? Like what is the purpose of gear if we're just going to be capped at everything? A hard, rigid 5% cap, not even like, 10, 20, maybe 30, a 5% damage cap. Like nothing you can ever go back to will be easier than like, it's just such a gross feeling. It's just so weird. Now, are these numbers on like the 300 AP numbers, or is this like the like rigid, like 1,200 AP? Like, what are those numbers based on? Do we know?
Yeah, it's your overall AP. So like when I see my AP now, it shows it's like, 15 or 1600, and like Orzekia, the hardest spot in the
Okay,
game,
what's the
is like
difference
100
between someone
points
at
lower than where I'm
350
at.
AP versus what's the difference between someone at 300 AP and 350 AP in the
400.
like real raw AP numbers?
It's 8 points per AP flat. So you have the 50
Okay, and then
points,
what's
and then you have an
5% of
additional
that?
400. 20. It's like a
So the
little less or
difference
something.
between me at being at 300 and going to spot and being 350 is 20 AP difference.
Yeah. I think you have to add the 50 points. So you had the 50 and then the 80. So it should be 450. So you should get 20%. So it's 5% of 450 should be 22 and a half AP. Yeah. 22 and a half.
That's horrible. That's horrible.
It's pretty crazy, man.
That's really horrible. What's the I don't know, I haven't paid attention to any BDO streamers. What's the common consensus? Is everybody like, wow, this is awesome?
Meta grinders just don't give a shit. They're like, this doesn't affect me. That's like the brain dead NPC take. But I feel like I got a lot of positive reception on like my forum posts that I made. You read my forum post maybe? Maybe not actually. But
I have not. I saw you post about it, but I have not read it. Do you want to like recap that real quick?
basically TLDR, I think that people grind for so many more reasons than just money. That's number one. And number
They should,
two, yeah, like people, I think, like they quote unquote fall in love with the grind spot, like somewhere that they actually like grinding, and they love
Right.
to observe their own power scaling. Like I call it like micro progression within a grind spot. Just like if you're cutting U's in RuneScape, or even a better example, if you're cutting Willows, you love watching when you cut Willows faster. Like you can feel it every single level all the way up to 99. RuneScape does it extremely well, even though it's a tier 35, 30. Like it's
Yeah, there are like 20 million ways to level your combats,
yeah,
but you get to choose it at least.
right.
Like you could do the crab, you could kill cows in Lumbridge, you could do NMZ, you could do Slayer. There's like
Didn't
50
Jimmy
different
do like an
ways.
hour of chickens or some shit?
You can literally
which is
do
crazy.
so many different methods, but the freedom is up to you. And I feel like that's what PA is kind of taken away.
Yeah, let me go grind Sawsons and get the same amount of money that people get at Olin's Dekia. Come on, dude.
Well, I mean, you're capped on money regardless because you're pets. So
Anton
even if
says
you
you can
could
grind.
kill, Let's pretend that you could kill the mobs fucking like 100% faster. You're still capped on spawn and pets.
You could
Yeah,
just
they would
run
just
over
feel
to the
better, I
mobs
guess.
and pick them up.
lame and
What do you
outdated
mean?
system. That was sort of the beauty, though. Is like you could do a grind spot where you would just loop back onto dead bodies, and like that would create like the ability for innovation. And we've like eliminated any possibility for innovation with this new design. Like we are not letting players innovate. We are not letting players grind faster because they play a fast-moving class. We're not letting players go back to a grind spot to make money because we don't want them to do that. Like everything is like designed in like this weird way of like eliminating every
Well,
sort
I
of
mean, you
possible
still
point of
can't.
progression.
You still can go back. You just will be
Not receive
capped
any
out at
benefits
that
to the
spot.
time you put into your gear. Yeah, I think that's a problem. Like you should not have something you've worked really hard for and have access to. It should not be artificially nerfed because they don't want players to use it that way. I think that's problematic. I think that you shouldn't have the game
But it's
company like sort of explicitly saying we don't want you to abuse the systems. Why did you make the system that way?
but it's not that you're nerfed. You're just not like paper cutting the mobs or whatever.
I think if there was a good reason for that game design, then fine. But again, like you said, then we're capped at like pet looting. So even if we could like melt the mobs, so then what you're saying, not what you're saying, but what I'm saying is that even if you can melt the mobs, you're still limited to your pets. So then like they just need to design the system around that. Instead, they're saying we don't want to design any of these systems around any possible manipulation, quote unquote. So
Yeah.
we're just gonna
Anything
make so
interesting.
you
Yeah,
can't ever possibly do any innovation.
Yeah, I think that's probably why they're doing it that way. Is for the
Yeah, but why couldn't they just
also
design it better?
the for the new players. So I guess one of the main reasons why they changed the DP and stuff was because people would like abuse getting into grind spots with like lower gear.
Yeah, I think that's actually something I don't super disagree with. Some of the most frustrating parts is if someone played like a class that could just spam iframes, they didn't need any DP to go do the grind.
I mean, I
spot.
have no
Like, there were
problem with
people
them
that I knew
stopping.
that.
Mhm. Sorry, I was gonna just jump all over that.
I personally don't like that because it's like,
Yeah.
dang, I grinded for all this gear and now some dude that's just playing Awakening Nova can just iframe through everything. That's kind of fucking lame. I worked hard for this gear and some dude can innovate. I don't personally like that. I understand it's emergent gameplay where you're just playing, but that's, I mean, you could argue that either comes down to class balance or whatever. Like creating a class that can just spam iframes and has tons of frontal blocks and super armors is busted AF compared to a class that has no super armors, no frontal guards, no anything, and they can't grind a spot, even if they're like 1% lower than the Rex. Like I feel like that's PA sucking at class balance. So, but it's like almost another problem in itself. Sorry, go ahead, Jimmy.
Yeah. I guess all I would say is that I don't think anyone has issues with them protecting people from going upward, but I think the entire conversation is about the inability to go downward in like gear usage at an easier spot. Like that's the whole problem. Like what you're not impacting anybody else's grind, like you're not making it busier. I don't know. It seems like it's one thing to protect someone from like just getting easy content or easy access to better content. But I feel like that's not the conversation, right?
Yeah, like if they're breaking the game, then like I don't know, fix the game. Don't put a cage around the broken thing and like say, oh, it's fixed. It's like, no, it's not. You just put a cage on the creature that's running around wildly. Like you're not nerfing the creature. Hello, but I don't know. This is a very specifically game where they can't just like. I mean, they never have just tweak numbers by small percents. Every time we get a nerf or a buff on classes, it's like some massive like 10, 15, 20, 30, 40 versus
Yep.
like in League
I've
of
complained
Legends when
about
they do like a patch, it's like we have changed his ability by 1.5%. It's like BDO could never see that in its wildest dreams for some reason.
Yep, it's one of the biggest problems with their balance. Until they start making changes that are like literally 1 to 5%, I will never take them seriously on any time they say they're trying to balance something. Because you don't balance something by moving it massive amounts constantly. It's the opposite of balance. That's like creating imbalance. But yeah, we've talked about that for sure.
Yeah. All right. Anything else we need to kind of? I know we're doing like a recap and then broke back into this, but
Well, I think the other
any
part
other
to this
final
is
thoughts?
well, the promises and the delivering of balls in general, balls. Do you guys think like what we have been given by PA, like based on what was promised last year's ball versus
I mean, do we have like a list so we can look it up? I think we've gotten a majority of like everything, right? They like only announced content they actually had in development. The only thing we haven't gotten in the last like year or two is like being able to label guilds uniquely as certain things and having like a PvP guild having PvP objective type stuff. Like that's like I would think one of the only things we didn't really get. But that's
The
like
farm,
nothing I have like a massive issue with. Sorry, good.
the farming seed stacking. They haven't done that yet.
I don't understand how they can't like do that stuff in like a patch note. I thought that was also one of the really weird things is like it kept failing like every time we were talking about like the new stuff that was coming. It's like why is the ball felt like a lot of patch notey type stuff. I feel like when I look at these, it should be like me looking at like the future of the game and being like, "Oh, what's the game's direction headed into?" And it's like, "Here's offhand, here's armor." Well, yeah, we knew that was coming because that was like literally the only pieces of gear left. What's next? Was any of that talked about in the ball? Like what's after Adania or anything like that? I know like what was it in the December one they talked about going 1,000 years into BDO's past, and that's what I think what you said. Doctor was saying like BDO 2 or whatever, or maybe that was offensive. But they mentioned anything further on, or is Adania going to be the thing for the next like year and a half that we're like yapping about, even though it's literally here?
No, I think the BDO2 is like this time travel thing you mentioned earlier with the expansion of the Magnus. So I don't think honestly Jordan might know, but I'm not the I'm not the expert on this title ball. I think I've skimmed through about 30% of it. Like the first 40 minutes I don't think I've even watched before. So Jordan, any idea? Did they talk about it?
There's talk about the new Valencia. So I think what they'll
They did?
do is they'll, yeah.
Sorry, I'm asking. They did talk about it in this ball, or it was the December one.
I think it's the December one I'm thinking of.
All right, so they've only talked about the Adania stuff for this one.
Yeah. Or
Okay.
part 1 and part 2. Yeah.
So part 1 is all 5 castles. What's part 2? Was I confused? I thought the whole region was these 5 castles. Is there
No,
more than
there's
just
a
these 5?
eastern side. They showed like a big red cloud over like the eastern half. So the 5 castles is actually part 1, and we're getting that in 2 pieces, August 21st and September 10th. So we'll have all 5 castles, and there's supposed to be like a really big castle to the east. That's gonna be part of that's like Marganathan or whatever that dude's name is, Marganathan. That will be in part 2, which we don't even have a release date for. But to be fair, we never did. We never had one. We have no idea what to
That's
expect
gonna be
with this.
interesting. This whole region is as big as the Valencia Desert, right?
Right above northern Valencia.
I don't know if that's
So
still
that
true.
But it's
whole-
the size of Valencia, right?
No. Look right above Valencia.
Right, I'm saying it's as big as the desert because they've changed it. The map, they've like already changed the sizing. I think in the pictures we saw.
It's I would say it's probably like at least half of Valencia.
All right. Anything else?
I'm
I
good.
think we're
Just
good.
curious when BDO is gonna add an AFK crab for everyone to kill instead of dummies.
We do. It's fishing.
No, I'm talking about for combat, bro.
Levels don't mean anything in BDO.
You're talking to someone who literally cares so much about that, Jimmy.
You're talking to someone who literally cared about it when it did matter.
Bomber
When,
did.
when it did matter and they didn't nerf it and make it like pointless.
I
New
know,
Dummy Combat
Andre,
XP was
you got
insanely cool,
66
I will
less
say.
Than all of us.
It was really cool for a very long time.
That was a long
and it
time
was
ago.
Really
What,
competitive. and
Jimmy?
they had,
What
like, an actual
recognition
system
do we
design.
have?
Well, this
What
is what I was
recognition
trying to
do we
get
have
to
from all of
earlier,
our
and it's
efforts?
just one of the bigger thoughts is that I really wish Black Desert would add more numbers to the like end of their like basically every single spot in their game. They probably have data for it, and if not, like they keep track of like monsters killed by player. Like you'd think they could have like a high scores, like a weekly, daily, monthly high score for a grind spot with kill count, with total silver earned, like just raw silver, raw trash, whatever they want. I mean, trash makes the most sense. But if they were to do something like that and then have like an all-time leaderboard, that would literally send grinding, like PvE would be so popular, so simple too. Like it's like a high scores for all grind spots. People would go crazy to compete for it, especially for like weekly, monthly. They could have rewards. They could have like competitions. Streamers could do like local things on some random ass shitty grind spot. It'd just be really good for the game and PvE in general. I would like to see more stuff like that.
Yeah,
Anyway,
it would be
ranting.
really nice if they really leaned into their hardcore grinder community, sort of like RuneScape does, but instead they're like, no, we want everybody to be casual, and all hardcore players will be subject to the casual player updates. Okay. All right,
Yeah.
well, we're all casuals now.
Well, I think that wraps up the
Gotta say.
podcast. Any other thoughts? Bomber, Jordan, Ghost?
No, I think I yapped a lot, so sorry, sorry.
This whole thing will be on
Only
YouTube,
15
by the
more
way.
days.
Axe 2, anyone else? And yeah, we'll hope to see you guys in game. I'm gonna do some quick shout outs here. So we got Ghost Rags, we got Blonde Bear, and we got Jordan TV. Make sure you guys drop follows for all these guys.